Thank you.
I have mine with you.
I don't really need it, but might have to steal it depending on how you come. I'll put it away. Did it now that you said that? Well,
Did you do that all over?
I do all the time.
Why would you do that?
I like being the
That's so candy.
All right, we are live and ready to go.
Thank you, Heather. Back on the walls. Advertised. Okay, we will call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. And I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Great, thank you. And now we will do the roll call. And we will start with myself. I'm present. Aaron Lehman is chair. Timothy Harrington. Present. Christian Chamberlain. Here. Robert Peckham. Present. Heather Robinson.
Present.
Sarah Stevens.
Present.
And Shauna Baratat.
Present.
Thank you. I would like to call for a motion to pass the minutes from June.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with regards to the meeting minutes of June 3rd, 2026, I move to approve.
Second. Seconded by Christian. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstention? Okay. And with that, the meeting minutes are approved. Okay. So a few housekeeping items. In the event of an emergency, you may exit the building out these two side doors and out the front of the building, or on the other side of the building, likely the way you came in to the parking lot. So the run of the meeting tonight, we will call the applications up in the order on the agenda, and we will have the applicant come to the podium and discuss their variance. In the event your variance is approved, you will receive written notice from the town in a few days, and then you may carry out the rest of the building permit after that. If your variance is not approved, you will still receive a letter, but you will not receive a building permit after that point. And with that, we will call the first applicant for 2026-040 at 24 Rain Drive. Right. And when you do come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Min Dang, and the address is 24 Rain Drive, Rochester 14623.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. So tell us what you're planning on doing, please. Tell us what it is you want to do.
Okay, so I have my front porch is it's rotted out, and so I want to replace them with a little bit change. So my existing porch is tie shift from the center of the door, and it looks a little odd, so I want to even them out and tie up the deck from one wall to the street is the same. The only thing is I expand them a little bit wider. And also I would like to put a gable on the top, just try to get some sunshade and protect the front door from the snow from the winter. And my gable is 8 by 8. That is the outside of the gate. So the porch is from the wall to the street gonna be 74 inches. So it's not 8 feet. So I want the gable front, it's a little bit farther, and then the porch just so we cover some sun and snow. And my plan is that just do a 2 step down, step to 2 step.
Okay, so really it's just to primarily to replace the porch and then just make it appealing with a roof. It's not currently covered, I saw. So this is to add the roof to it, which really would look nice, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I actually have no questions. I think it's appropriate. It doesn't seem out of line with the rest of the neighborhood. You do have neighbors that have something similar. And obviously you need to replace the porch. So doing this all at once, it seems to make sense. It's not a lot of relief that you're asking for from the zoning board. And it essentially, is 8.5 feet, which I don't see an issue in the neighborhood with doing that, given the depth of your front lawn. So I don't have any other questions. Thank you for that.
Can I ask you how you came up with the size? Were you,
Because like I said, the old porch is a little out, and it from the wall to the street, I think it fit for me. I don't need any bigger. And when I come down, I get a permit. It said that I need to come today
okay,
because that's the reason. And also, when I want to ask for a permit, I want to send it out to the door.
Agree.
okay, thank you.
Will the decking itself be a wood or it will be a composite material?
Uh, the uh, the tractor is the pressure treat,
Okay.
and then I'm thinking about I put the composite floor,
Mhm.
and then on the top I just re-rock stuff to build a roof like a shingle,
Mhm.
and 2 by 4 and with 4 by 4 up to the roof is for the front feature pole.
Okay. Any further questions from the board?
No.
Heather, are there any questions from anyone online?
Not at this time.
Okay. Is there anybody present here that wish to speak to this application? Okay. And with that, I will close application 2026-040.
All right. You want my
Mhm.
resolution? Okay. So with regard to application ZBA 2026-040 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has one, duly advertised and held a public hearing, two, considered all relevant information, and three, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood, as other homes in the area have covered porches similar to what the applicant is asking for. The variance can be achieved by some other feasible alternative in that the only feasible alternative is to make the covered porch 8.5 feet shorter, and that does not meet the applicant's needs. The request is not substantial, as the applicant is only asking for 8.5 feet of relief from the zoning board, and the new porch will be the same size as the one that came with the house. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. And the difficulty relating to the variance was not self-created. The applicant is asking to add a covered front porch onto their house, which would be the same as the existing, to replace the existing porch, looking to rebuild the existing porch now with a roof cover. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second that. Second by all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the variance is approved. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. With the applicant for 2026-041 at 28 Yellowstone Drive, please come forward.
Hi.
Good evening.
Max Muehlbauer, 28 Yellowstone Drive.
Mr. Mirabauer, you are looking for a 3-foot side setback for your driveway. The driveway is existing, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So it'll be basically a replacement of the existing driveway.
Yep.
Okay. Just curious, I'm assuming you want the ability to be able to comfortably park 2 cars side by side, and that's the reason for the.
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
This is pretty straightforward. So
Yeah.
no way.
Okay. Not yet. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss?
Nope.
Okay. And with that, I will close the application for 20. Was it? Oh, sorry. All right. Heather, is there anybody who'd like to comment online?
I have no residents online except for applicants.
Okay. Is there anybody else in the audience who'd like to discuss? Okay. And with that, I will close application 2026-041. With regard to application number ZBA 2026-041 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. The proposed setback will not alter or diminish the established character of the neighborhood. Driveways throughout the surrounding area commonly accommodate 2 vehicles parked side by side, and proposed configuration is consistent with the existing development pattern. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The benefit sought by the requested variance cannot be achieved by another feasible alternative due to the existing location of the garage. The proposed driveway alignment maintains the character of the neighborhood while providing safe and functional access to the garage. The variance is not substantial. The proposed setback is not substantial as it maintains a reasonable distance from the property line and has minimal visual impact on the surrounding neighborhood. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. Negative physical or environmental conditions are not foreseen at this time. The difficulty relating to the variance was not self-created. Difficulty was not self-created as it results from the existing location of the house and garage on the property. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Second by Heather. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Your variance passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. And by the way, once your variance has been completed, you are welcome to stay or leave. So you're not required to stay.
We won't take offense.
Ken watched
Blue balls.
Okay. With the applicant for 2026-042 at 23 Candleford Heights, please come forward.
My name is Nirmal Nepal and 23 Candleford Heights, West Henrietta. I'm requesting for shade 112 by 16, like 192.
So 192 for the new one. Can you talk to us about how you determine that size, right? So code says 104 square foot maximum for your parcel. So how did you choose 192?
Because I have a 2-car and my garage is so full now. I need a space to park my garage and car in the garage. So I have lawnmower, I have many other stuff. want to put in a shade house.
So a garage that's got one car and then a bunch of stuff. So, but 192 is relatively big. Did you consider smaller sizes?
Is not allowed. I like 292, like 12 by 16, but I can go a little smaller if it's not.
So part of our objective is, right, so 104 is the limit to code and the request is greater than that. So for a variance, what we try to do is ask if you could get by with, something smaller. That's one of our objectives. So if a smaller could satisfy your requirements, that would make sense. But I'm just proposing.
I would like to 12 by 16, but if it's not possible, I can go little to 12, like 10 by 14.
So is there a method that you came to the size that you needed? Was it because the side that the sheds came in that you're ordering or having built? Is it
No,
because?
I want to do myself.
Okay, so is there equipment that's a certain size that you need the shed to be that big to put things in, or is it property that you have that is a certain size that would make the shed be that big to fit it in?
Yeah, my lawnmower, snowblower, and other stuff. This house stuff.
And you can't store that in your garage because I'm assuming you like park your cars in there. Is that?
Yeah, there is 2 car. I want to park in this winter.
What is the shed gonna be made out of? What is it gonna be made out of? What materials?
The material that I'm gonna use for the floor, resuscitate,
Pressure fitted?
and TNZ for the subfloor,
Okay.
and roofing 5 by 8 OSB
Okay.
signal
Okay, is it, how tall is it gonna be?
is 7 feet.
7 feet tall? Okay. Do you plan on running any electricity to the shed?
No,
No? Okay. Are you gonna paint it similar to your house? Similar color?
I'm thinking to put the siding.
Sliding door?
Both sides.
Siding,
Siding.
okay. Nice.
Okay.
No further questions?
So what do you think is the ideal size then?
Siding,
What do you think is the ideal size then?
the actual size. I can go 10 by 14.
10 by 14 would allow you to store everything that you
Yeah.
really need to store there.
Okay.
My initially was 16 by 12, but if it's too big, then I can just.
Is there anybody present online or in the audience that would like to speak? Okay. But Tim, are we accepting? Condition. Okay. While we are revising the resolution, so we are going to approve the 7 by 14 shed.
10 by 14.
Sorry, yes.
Wow. All together now.
Yeah. The variance will read for that. That will be what your building permit will be issued for.
So 140 square feet, where 104 is allowed. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application ZBA 2026-042 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has, 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals make the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The neighborhood is an active one. Many homes have sheds. This applicant intends to place the new shed in the rear of the backyard, mostly out of sight. The variance can be achieved by some other feasible alternative, such as off-site storage or reduction of belongings. The applicant needs to empty the garage to make space for a car that is currently outside. And this size will satisfy that need. The variance is not substantial. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The shed will be built by the homeowner, will be designed to fit in with the look of the neighborhood. The difficulty related to the variance was self-created, given the need for tools like snow blower, lawnmower, etc. There is no space for cars in the garage, so a larger shed is a reasonable solution. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented. And be it further resolved that this approval shall be subject to the following conditions. The maximum allowed for the shed will be 10 by 14 feet total, not the stated 12 by 16 foot.
I'll second.
Second by Heather. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And your variance is approved. Thank you.
Good evening.
Okay, for the applicant for 2026-043 at 43 Egan Boulevard, please come forward. Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay, Paul Fiend, 295 Canterbury Road, Rochester.
Thank you.
Hello, I'd like to go over what you intend to want to do with your defense. It is on, sorry. Could you just review what you want to do with the variance?
Put a 6 foot high privacy fence up. The house is a corner lot and the last pine tree died. There's no privacy at all in the backyard.
Say 6'5" or 6 foot?
6 foot.
Okay.
High.
Right.
6 foot.
High, I'm sorry. So 6 foot high fence, and you want to move, you want to expand a bit than you currently have towards,
There's no fence there at all.
or, okay. So but there's an existing fence.
It's the neighbor's fence. It's not a fence for the lot.
No, there was an existing fence.
There's another.
No, this one was,
I thought it said existing.
I just wanted to say existing, I apologize.
Second to last. Regardless, we're gonna take that. It's a short section.
Okay.
Doesn't enclose anything.
And you want to, get out of, looks like wood stockade
Yeah,
fence?
stockade.
Is the main reason for privacy or
It's the corner lot and you can see everything. Everybody can see everything in the backyard.
okay,
A little bit security, but mostly privacy.
okay.
And when constructed, the fence towards the actual front of the house, front yard won't project beyond the front of the house, correct?
It'll be the side of the house. It will project about 15 feet. It's a large front yard on the side there, probably almost 45 feet. Won't interfere with people rounding the corner of the car. It'll be a very good line of sight.
Thank you.
Just for my clarity, you have a piece of fence that's already there that's potentially your neighbors. You're replacing that piece of fence.
We're gonna put a new fence, a new complete enclosed yard essentially on the back and then take that fence down.
Okay, that explains it. Yeah,
Otherwise, it's gonna be troublesome to mow foot wide.
agreed.
Kevin, there's no issue with the fence on the adjacent property, right? If he's replacing their fence with the variance.
It's on the property line. If neighbors are in agreement to remove it, replace it with this fence.
Just a paperwork question.
Yeah. We've had conversations.
Any further questions from the board?
Yeah, so looking at the diagram, because I know you're on the corner lot.
Correct.
The blue looks very nice, by the way, that it's been painted. The blue
Oh,
It looks-
it's completely blue now?
looks yes. Yes, I noticed it the other day. I was like, oh, it's finished.
ran
It
out of
looks
time.
fantastic. But because it's 6 foot, so you do have a weird it's like a weird partial section between the back of your house and the side of their house behind you. It's just a weird, so this is gonna
Almost
go,
like a drainage valley that runs to nowhere back there.
right, and it's only a partial, like it doesn't enclose anything. So this is gonna go
This will go
the back and the side along Beaconsfield?
as close to his property line as possible,
Okay,
and then extend about 4 or 5 feet beyond the garage side
yep,
of the house, then 15 feet or so on the Beaconsfield side.
okay, so about how far away from the road? So you're saying only about 15
I'd say about
feet
25 feet from the
setback?
from the road, yeah, from the edge of the road.
So given that it's 6 feet tall and there's a stop sign on that corner, how far back, not Beaconsfield, but how far back from the corner where the stop sign is?
Oh, it's the backyard.
Is it gonna stop?
So it's the house. 30 to the front yard. 25 or feet deep, so at least 50 feet.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. Why is yours red? Mine's not red. So that's where it's going?
There was
Okay,
a-
that
there
makes
was
a
a-
lot
there
more
was a
sense.
couple
Hold on a
times
minute.
there
I'm having
for years of-
internet issues. Okay, so it's not going to be in the way at all of the stuff. Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. Mine doesn't have that red. That makes a lot more sense. All right, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Any further questions from the board?
No further question.
no.
Okay. I will mention we received a resident comment who is not able to attend tonight from 42 Egan Boulevard. In short, they have no objections to the variance. So they are in favor. They're still your friends. And so with that, Heather, or in the audience, are there anybody present that would like to comment on this application? Okay. And with that, we will close this application.
Give me one quick second.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2026-043 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. A code-compliant fence would not provide equivalent privacy or security. Alternatives like a hedge or lower fence with landscaping would not deliver the same immediate year-round result. The variance requested is substantial. The request doubles the permitted height, which is a meaningful deviation from the zoning standard. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. There is no grading, excavation, drainage changes, or removal of vegetation. The fence will not create any line of sight issues for traffic. And difficulty related to the variance was self-created due to the applicant's choice to install a fence taller than code allows. Be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeal hereby approves the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Tim. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And your variance passes.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay. For the applicant for 2026-45 at High Stone Circle, please come forward. Welcome.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Joe O'Donnell, Greater Living Architecture, address 3033 Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. I have with me Steve Furia, the owner, going to be the owner of this property in the house. We're here tonight to just seek relief from the 35 maximum width of a garage to 36 feet. And the footprint fits within all of the setbacks of the property. So we think it's a pretty straightforward request. I don't want to waste of time going through each of the standards. I think the self-created one is probably the only one that is relative, but as we know, almost every variance is self-created. The reason for the 1 foot is that it allows for 3 9-foot wide overhead doors, maintains the symmetry of the front of the house. So that's how we would, we were asking for the request.
If you didn't do that, what would the alternative be?
Well, the alternative would be to reduce the one overhead door, which would then look out of place with the other 2.
And makes it a little less usable.
Yes.
What about an option of having a double door and a single door? I know it's not symmetry the way you mentioned, but what about that?
Well, it was just what the homeowner actually wanted when he saw the elevation and design of the house. They prefer to have the 3 or single overhead doors. Again, it's just that as the architect, we like the 3 symmetry of the 3 doors versus the 2 and 1.
Do you
I
plan,
think that more just I think that's more fitting with the level of architecture in the neighborhood too. Creates more of a classic look.
do you plan on storing 3 vehicles in the garage, or is one area for storage more?
No, it's all 3 vehicles. The reason for that 3rd garage is that Steve does have a sports car that he keeps in storage, and building a new house, he'd like to be able to not have to do that, so he doesn't have to go get it every time he wants to use it.
Okay. Any further?
Did that create enough space for storage?
Yes, because the garage is deep. Very deep.
I did notice that driving through the neighborhood, most of the homes that have a three bay width are the 1 double and 1 single. But in this case, based on the architecture, I understand the need for 3, but the neighborhood does predominantly have 1 double and 1 single garage.
In my experience and having done this for 40 years, usually the double is because there's a bad driver in the house and they're always worried about them.
And from
What-
experience, they're harder to maintain also.
Yeah.
You know, they're heavier,
Yeah.
you know, equipment wise, it's more difficult with the double. So I do understand that, but I did just want to make that clear.
So if you come back with another customer that has a double door,
We're gonna say that.
I'll remember.
Are you paid off by the garage door manufacturer or the lift manufacturer? I'm just, no, don't. No,
Yeah.
not a good one, that's all I got. I don't have any more questions.
Anybody else at the board? Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just wanted to go on the record as saying that this application strictly pertains to the width of the garage.
Yep.
Okay, because when you go ask for public comment, I don't think it's relevant to talk about the sign that's on that site.
About the sign,
The sign.
Fine. Well,
am I missing?
so the application before us, you are correct, it is about the width of the garage. We won't discuss
Okay,
the sign.
that just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That will be outside our purview
Correct.
tonight.
Correct, I just want to make.
Somebody can say something, but it doesn't affect this application.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody present that would like to speak to this application or online? Okay. And with that, we will close this application.
With regards to application ZBA 2026-045 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The design of this house is very symmetrical and clean and does not cause any undesirable effect to this character of the neighborhood. This variance can be achieved by some other feasible alternatives. Although the design can accommodate the requirement, it shouldn't sacrifice on the design of the house due to door options that at a smaller size due to the door option selected for the smaller size. The variance requested is not substantial. It is only 1 foot, so it is not substantial compared to the size and look of the proposed house. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions, as this small variance is not anticipated to cause any physical or environmental conditions compared to the house. And the difficulty related to the variance was self-created. And therefore be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Christian. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed,
Motion carried.
motion carries.
Have a good
Good evening.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
That's it. You're sitting up. Okay. All right, with the applicant for 2026-46, at 11 Campfire Road, please come forward.
Hi, how are you?
You,
Karen, Eve,
Georgie?
11 Campfire Road North.
Thank you. Can you explain a little bit of why you guys are needing a new front porch?
We don't really need it.
No. Falling, Frederick Street is falling apart.
Oh,
The boards are coming in.
Oh.
Some of the back of the boards, yes.
Is that helping your case?
We won't call the deteriorating. He's over here going, we don't need to be here at all. I don't know.
That one has done with deposit board, so I don't have to say anything.
Okay. And the overhang, you guys are just looking to have an overhang on the front porch?
Cable overhang, yes.
Okay. Is the size the same exact as what you have existing? Is it larger?
It's actually gonna be a little bit smaller, it's not gonna be fine,
Okay,
but it's going to be the same depth.
okay. And is it still big enough for you guys to sit on it? I thought you guys had.
Yeah,
chairs.
yeah. It'll be big enough to sit out there and have a coffee.
Okay. All right, no further questions.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I think it'll look nice.
Yeah,
Not
pretty
question.
house. Pretty house.
Yeah. Is there anybody present that would like to speak to this application? Okay. And with that, we will close application 2026-046.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2026-046 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefits to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties, as the applicant wants to improve or wants to make improvements to the property. The porch will be well done and the roof will be a gable roof and go back to the home. This will allow for one cohesive look and add more curb appeal to the home. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as the home is placed 50.6 feet approximately. And any option for replacing the variance or replacing the existing steps will need a variance. The variance requested is not substantial, or is substantial, but this is the only feasible way to achieve what the applicant needs to safely enter and exit their home. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The new step / porch will be in the same location as the existing. The difficulty relating to the variance was not self-created, as the home was built prior to the current setback variant or laws was put in place. And be further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
seconded by Christian. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the variance is approved.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Enjoy your coffee.
Okay. With the applicant for 2026-047 at 52 Marburg Drive, please come forward.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christian Cruz Santana. I live at 52 Marport Drive.
Hello. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm here to,
Just say, go ahead and explain what it is you're proposing and why you need the variance.
so I'm proposing to build a shed. It is 14 by 32, 12 feet high. I currently have a shed, and you can see in the image, is kind of like pinkish to the right of the white shed that I would like to build. The current shed is I believe a 10 by 14. Is no longer suitable for me to store things in there, even though I do have a two-car garage. So I will need to build a 14 by 32 shed, and I know that I'm allowed to build an additional shed in the town of Henrietta. Now, the reason why I need one is that this is my third home. Over the years, I'm in the stage of my life where I feel like I have acquired a lot of things. I know that looking over here, I see people that are probably trying to get rid of stuff. Currently, I had rented a storage unit in this, which is called the Storage Mall in Rush. For the past 6 years, I've been storing things in there. I had 2 units at one point. From those past 6 years, 2 of them I stored or rented a 10 by 20. So this whole time I've been renting that amount. So if you ask me why I need a 14 by 32, that's where I got my measurements from. Now, I don't think is too crazy to ask, but do you guys have any questions?
So what you're asking is a very large shed on what I would say is a smaller property.
Okay.
Can you tell us how you came up with the dimensions and what you plan to store in the shed?
Sure. So in the past 6 years, I stored 2 units, right? And the storage mall right over here out of Rush. For those 2 of them, I rented 2 units of 10 by 20.
Mhm.
And I have proof here if you want it. To store many things, my motorcycles, cars, whatever other stuff. Either that could be seasonal items and Christmas, Halloween, skiing, biking, camping. Pretty soon I'm going to go with my son on a camping trip for the Boy Scouts. So, I have a wife, she acquires things. I have a son that also I have to put his stuff somewhere, and I can't even park my car in the garage. So, any of my cars, I have 3.
Is there a reason why any of these items are not stored in the house?
What do you mean?
So
Which items you're talking about?
you have a lot of personal property that could potentially be stored in either the house or the basement or an attic. So is there a reason why you're not storing it in the house? Is there not room?
Well, there's other things in the garage and these other places. Yes, there's no space for them. Like my tools, my equipment, lawnmower, zero turn. I don't know, like snowblower, like all the things you need to be efficient to make sure you take care of your property. I have all those things, and I do have a letter from all my neighbors who I don't like bragging, saying that they're cool with it. So if you want it, I have that too.
We'll take that, right?
Yeah, so if you provide that letter to us, we just have to keep it. That's all.
I have a couple of questions too. I'll wait till you get back there. In the statement, So for your lot size, I know you mentioned that you're allowed to have two sheds, but the total square footage is 144 square feet
For the current one.
for the, for your lot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for the whole lot.
Right, that's correct. That's for
You're
everyone
looking to,
in
you're
Henrietta.
looking to do about, I don't know my math, 3-4 times that size.
That's correct.
And you're keeping the one that's pink in the picture? I don't know, the existing one, that's your desire?
So I'm gonna keep the pink one, which I'm also gonna paint when I started working on the other one, so I'm gonna,
The scale of this is very large for your space, as part of your lot's concerned. And my curiosity is what size could you shrink this down to in this request, which is
you know,
exceptionally large? Now, remember,
I would love to shrink it, but
Yeah.
I can't because like I said, I've been renting 2 storage units and I got proof of it, 10 by 20. So technically I could have been asking for more and I'm not.
one of the,
And
go ahead.
sorry,
I thought you were done, that's right.
No, no.
One of the things is when we grant a variance for any property, it goes in perpetuity, meaning forever, past you, past the next people that live there. And so forever, they can put up 500 and I think your size is over 500 square feet of,
440 something.
for this shed,
That's correct.
plus 144 for the other
That
shed.
is correct.
Yeah, so over 500.
Okay, yeah.
593. And that is substantial. I have seen a couple other houses that we as a
Yeah.
board have approved slightly larger sheds,
Yeah.
not nearly this scale. And I will say very clearly, I am 100% opposed to this.
I agree with you that you may believe that it's substantial, but
It
in
is.
comparison to other neighbors, I feel like
There is no other neighborhood.
no. I'm saying that, I talk to my neighbors, I'm a friendly neighbor,
Yeah,
and they all have the problem that I'm currently facing, which honestly keeps me up at night thinking that I'm gonna deal with this for 30 years. I'm 36.
yeah.
Okay. And if you have a solution for trying to keep all these things together and organized with the square footage that I have, please let me know. But all these people around me in my neighborhood have the same issue I have. They don't know where to put their stuff. Okay.
Yep.
So I don't think it is unreasonable to ask because of that reason. Again, if
I am comfortable disagreeing with your assessment of it. I feel confident in the fact that this is excessive in size. I am one vote of 7, so I might be overridden in that.
Again,
spot.
again,
And by the way,
maybe because of your lifestyle and maybe the family size, maybe
I believe you're a great neighbor. I don't doubt that from you. By the way, you seem very nice and kind. This is independent. And I also know you have a lot of things. I heard you say 3 cars, multiple motorcycles.
Yeah, which my wife hates. So, but
That's a story I can't fix for you. A lot of times it's an unfortunate comment that it's paring things down, doing some things. It's not easy to say, and it's not meant flippantly, but it is something that
no, I understand. I agree with you. In the sense of your opinion. Again, I just drives me nuts that seeing everyone around me dealing with an issue that I want to solve, and I have a solution. I have a solution that I feel like I don't want to longer pay for the storage units. They're increasing.
Yeah, for sure.
From 180, just to keep it in the middle of next to the cornfield.
Yep.
And nobody's watching this stuff.
I feel for you on that, but I'm one vote. I'm absolutely annoyed.
Again, I would love to find another solution unless I get rid of my wife and my son and all that stuff I do.
That is
I don't know
not a
what to do,
suggestion I'm willing to
You know,
get. They're lovely too.
So are there other questions from the board members?
Yeah, did I hear you say 12 feet high?
12 feet high, yes.
At the
The
peak.
current one I believe is 10. And the reason why I came with 12 is because when I'm in that one, I kind of have to tweak it a little bit because it has like another, like, I don't know, it has like a roof, essentially, a ceiling. And I could remove it, but I don't know what would do that to the structure. So I want to make sure when I walk in there, again, I'm not really that tall, and it feels like, even though it is 10, right, there's maybe 3 feet the 3 or 4 feet that is like from the little roof. So I'm like, if I jump, I'll hit it with my hand. So that's why I determined the 12.
Are there, go ahead.
So I understand your frustration. I also have a storage unit
Right.
and I know the cost and everything like that.
Mm.
I do also believe that this is a very substantial ask for the size, especially now you're having 2 sheds on the property. And it does go in perpetuity to the property. So if down the road you do sell your house,
Mhm.
it,
Can I say something real quick? So I've been a resident since 2003. Okay, in Henrietta. I do want to add that my neighbor is my mother-in-law. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. Okay, and if I'm making this quite investment, I think I'm going to be there forever. You know, I love Henrietta. I've been here for most of my life. I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. I think I have it made. And I want to uplift my community and my neighborhood. And I think this is one way to do so.
We can appreciate that, and I thank you for your kind words about Henrietta, but we have to look at this forever, and you won't be there forever. This variance stays with the property indefinitely, and it can't be taken away. So that's why we talk about what happened.
I'm not asking to build a ballroom. I just want to show,
It nearly is.
you know?
No, but see what happens is with the 593 square feet that you're asking to be granted because it
Mhm.
goes in perpetuity. So somebody does buy the house, say 10 years down the road, whatever, when
Okay.
the kids are grown. So correct me if I'm wrong, keep me honest, but we can't dictate the height of it, right? So somebody in theory could buy your house if you decided,
Mhm.
next year something changes, whatever. They could buy your house tomorrow, replace it with a massive 593 square feet, 4-story. This is what we would be approving. And it would significantly change the neighborhood dynamic. So this is what we have to kind of consider for the perpetuity piece of it. That's why we mentioned that is kind of a big deal.
So you're saying because potentially I could sell it one day, because obviously I will die one day. I'm 36, according to the, U.S. Census, the average of males will be 78. So, I mean, I still got halfway to go. So,
It's
I
more
mean, I
than
don't plan selling it.
Yeah,
It's more than that.
And I get it, and I get it. And I'll be there for this long, and I'm gonna be
Is there a size that you would accept? The
so
type of size?
so
Yeah.
so a year, I'm gonna be spending. I'm gonna round it to 3,000 in storage fees, right? So you're saying that I should do that until the day I die?
No, we can't recommend that you have or don't
So
have a
what is
storage.
your recommendation
Sorry,
for?
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you want to finish?
No, sorry.
We can't recommend or not recommend that you have a storage unit. I definitely can appreciate because it's not an easy thing, right? And we have limited, lot sizes and everything and, with the things that you're listing that you have. However,
Mhm.
our job is to look at in perpetuity, does it make sense to approve something that's about 5 times what's currently allowed?
Mhm.
So again, as Bob had said, I'm one of 7, but I have to say I'm a no because of the reasons that I stated, even though I
Yeah.
sympathize for the.
I only
need.
have, listen, I only have
So
one kid,
respectfully, yeah.
and believe it, I don't know how many kids you guys have, but the one is, I have a lot of his stuff. My
I
wife
have
keeps
twice
a
as
lot.
many.
And,
Child, so
and this is
3
the
times
thing,
as
and
many.
this is the thing, organize, keeping
a
your
lot.
stuff organized and secure. And then he's gonna keep acquiring things. I'm probably gonna keep acquiring things, and I want to solve that issue.
Sure,
I don't want to have a
understand.
garage sale every year.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop my wife from getting summer items, to improve the neighbor to our house. You know what I mean? She wants to get more lawn stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to, every time she puts it up at the end of the season, I have to deal with it and put it away. I don't want to be like discourage her from beautifying our home, in and out.
So
You know what I mean? So, and I don't know if you guys have the same struggle. Sounds like you don't, but if you do, I hope that you say yes.
So I'm going to re-ask the question. Again, it's our duty to try to get the smallest variance possible as a
According
board.
to that
So I'm going to
email.
ask the question, is there a smaller shed size that you would accept other than what you are proposing?
or another concession
No,
For example.
I agree. You want me to make it smaller, but based on, and I can show you the information, I could have made it bigger.
Look.
Okay, well, I could ask for something bigger
Of course.
based
You
on
could.
my need, right?
You can't ask for that today, though. if you
Right,
don't-
no, I'm saying I could have. I mean,
Mhm.
and the reason why I say decided to do 14 by 35 is because when you look at measurement sizes of lumber, that makes the most sense. You know,
Did you mean
because
14?
I would buy 16 footers, make it 14, grab the extra. You know, it's just,
You just said 14 by 35. Earlier you said 14 by 32.
sorry, 32. Yes, because then I can get 2 16s, you know, add to the
So
32.
as it
So
stands,
I try to maximize the amount of lumber I would buy to this. I had done a lot of planning. If you can go to that first image of the house of the,
Heather, can you go to first?
yeah, a little bit. So that first image on the top,
Higher up. Heather.
up a little bit higher.
That one?
You see that fence from one side to the other? One of the neighbors who used to live there, Brad, for some reason, he loved cutting wood. He had 2 walls, okay, of chopped wood from one side to the other. And last year I rented a U-Haul. It took me so many trips. I got the second to last U-Haul, not the biggest one, but the second to biggest one. And it took me so many trips. The guy from the brush people.
What does this have to do with the shed? Because
What I'm saying that I've been preparing for. I've been had a lot of thought about this. That's
Okay.
why I'm bringing it up. I'm sorry.
no,
And again, and I'm trying to maximize my property. I'm trying to beautify it. And I'm taking the time and effort and planning.
and we
And again,
appreciate,
and I'm serious about this. I'm not just like,
no, we appreciate your due diligence. But I will say, as your application stands right now, the board will not approve
so
the variance.
okay. How much smaller it doesn't need to be?
Well, but
That is within reason of
it's not,
for my need, instead of the Henrietta, because again, I understand I'm asking for something for the town, but everyone that I have met throughout the years, they don't know where to put their stuff.
a common size for
And
this
I-
property is about 192 feet in that ballpark. Total, not
Right.
additional. So
it says 148 is where it's allowed.
Right.
And
I'm
you're-
saying a total of about 192 feet is sort of the
Mhm.
common size that we're seeing, and that's probably in line with, I'm guessing for the board, that's about in line with the size of what you would probably get combined.
Mhm.
But that would be with your existing shed too, so that would
Correct.
be replacing it
Right.
for a structure that is encompassing.
Yeah, coming in for that size, you know,
Right.
this is an extraordinary request compared to the rules in the town of Henrietta, the
Mhm.
zoning.
Is it because it is a shed, or should I
No.
name it something else?
You can't do that. It's named.
No, I'm just saying, because before this, I looked
You
at
can
other
build onto your
applicants.
house potentially.
Say it again?
You could potentially build onto your house. That's an option.
I mean, I looked at all the possibilities. I
Right,
know that
this
you
is
guys allowed one attached and
expensive.
detached garage to the home. I already have a 2-car garage attached to the home.
Yep.
I can't build a barn. I can't put a storage container. I already looked at all the possibilities in the shed. It seems like the most reasonable, especially with the size that accommodates my needs. Just because nobody asked for this size before, it doesn't mean
People
that-
do ask for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a crazy request. How about there's other people like me that, you know,
it's not a
they
crazy-
don't want to deal this with their entire life. You know what I mean?
So the other factor and what
I
that
want to
we
be
look at,
organized. I want to be efficient. And this is one way that allowed me to do that.
yeah. So the other factor that we also look at is we have to think about all the feasible alternatives to get the space outside of other constraints.
And I have, right, the storage unit, which is over time, it financially it has become a burden, right? Now I do have my garage full of stuff. I have put some stuff in my mother-in-law's house, which is next to my house, right?
Mhm.
And it's no longer feasible.
So I'll ask this one more time. Are you willing to propose a smaller shed, more in line with what we have discussed,
There's-
is typical?
So,
Yeah, and there's another option. You can withdraw this request
mhm.
and you can go home
and you can, think about what you're proposing, think about what you have
Oh,
and what you
I've been
may
thinking
need to
about it
keep.
for over a year.
So-
And I've done my work. I've
Because
done,
right now, there seems to be
No chance.
pretty
So-
far apart from what will get approved.
get it.
and
I
what
get it.
you're- Yeah. So
you know, you
in
want me
that
to go
event,
and think about it more. And I have for a while,
if
Well,
it
you
gets,
know,
if it gets denied, then you can't come back for the same request.
For a year, right?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Um,
So
so
For a year.
what are you telling me? Okay. How big do you want me to make it? What is the allowed size after I already have one, right?
mhm.
And
That's
that's
the
the
allowed
maximum,
size.
is the maximum,
that is the allowed size.
right? And I'm allowed a second structure based on the town of Henrietta.
That's a
Okay.
trick question because you are allowed a second structure, but you are maxed out on size already.
Mhm.
Right,
So
but
there's
that's
a-
why I'm here in the zoning board asking for it to
Mhm.
pretty much for an exemption. So that's why I'm here. If not,
So
what,
everybody's here.
right,
Mhm.
which is reasonable to ask. So you either, from my understanding, you're either saying that I cannot do anything about it and I wasted $100
Mhm.
because no matter what other size I come up with, which would be 0, right?
No, that's not what we said. We said that a lot of people are doing 192 square feet or something in that ballpark
Mhm,
combined.
combined.
And
No.
you said, I'm hearing you say, I will only do 600 or 580, whatever the number is. That's all you're willing to do. Well, we're not willing to do that.
Okay,
And so the answer is going to be that once it's closed, once they
Mhm.
close the application, it is going to be a no.
okay.
So your inflexibility on your desire, which we understand, but your inflexibility on your desire will create a no improvement in size for you.
Okay,
And so you have a couple of choices, and the reality is Aaron will be the one to decide this, but we're going to close the application in a moment here
Sure.
for the decision.
okay.
And so you have to let us know what scale you are. And it's not fun to hear this, and it's not something that you want us to tell you. It's a
No.
decision that we have made as a board that is, or it's about that we're going to see what the answer is, but that's
Mhm.
You know,
And if I may, I think, if you listen to what the board is saying, the board is suggesting you
smaller.
possibly take some time
mhm.
and
So-
consider, well, let me finish, please. And you consider if there are alternatives that from everything that's been discussed might be more acceptable to this board, one that hasn't been discussed. And I know you may have considered this is one total new shed, removing the existing, would that make a smaller square footage more useful to you because it would be one building? There are options that you might want to take time to consider, as opposed to if we take a vote now, it sounds like it's likely to be denied and then you're done.
All right. So
Withdrawal or
So,
decision.
so if I come up with a compromise right now, this is what you're saying, right?
I'm
Or go
gonna-
home and think about it.
hold on. I'm going to open it up for anybody in the audience to come speak first or from online, and then we will see what you would like to do. So is anybody present in the audience that would like to speak to this application? No, okay. So unfortunately, you have to make a decision. I know it's not what you want.
Mhm.
So you have to decide to either withdraw your application or have the board vote on it.
Okay,
Could we postpone it till next, if you want to think
If-
for a month?
If you want to think about it for a month, we can postpone it to the next meeting, in which you may present something different that has to be submitted by the deadline for next month.
so I would have to make another application.
No.
You wouldn't
No,
have to resubmit it.
It's tabling this one
Okay.
and then modifying.
If it's less than what we advertise, then you wouldn't have to
Okay.
resubmit.
If you just table it, then it'll be on the agenda next month.
Okay,
If you
but he
wanna
can
think-
submit new material between now and that meeting.
You can, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Did you follow what was said?
I think so. So if I combine or make it smaller, combine the current shed with the future shed,
I
small-
we can't guarantee how we're gonna vote,
well,
depending on what you come back with. But what we can tell you is you could
I'm
take,
gonna say something that you will say yes to.
Yep.
You know,
Give you
and
some guidance from the conversations that we've had.
Mhm.
okay.
I would encourage you to use that guidance and do what you want, but I'd encourage you to
All
use
right,
some of
so-
that guidance to make a decision on what you want to do.
Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
Looking at the numbers, if you were to, let's say, a 12 by 1,692 square feet is. If you were to add onto your existing shed, that's 152 square feet more. If you were to remove the old one, because then we're just going to add on
Yes.
to the existing shed. The older, the shed looks older, possibly removing it, purchasing a possible 12 by 16 shed, brand new. It gives you the 192 that's.
I'll also throw out for experience I have, I also have a shed, it's 10 by 14. But the newer sheds tend to have a much nicer layout inside than what you're explaining. So I almost have a second level in there on a normal height shed. I have all sorts of furniture up top and lawnmowers and other, a whole bunch of stuff at the bottom. A lot of stuff at the bottom. And it's much more efficient than the old sheds. So it's an option.
I'm glad that it works for you.
So that would be considering, yeah, if it would make sense, if we tabled it, if you wanted to think about if perhaps something like a 12 by 16
By 16.
would work, given what you have to store, that would make sense for, it's just one of the considerations that you have.
And during that time, and I'm just not certain, would he be able to have the opportunity, to perhaps talk to the building inspector, work out some possible suggestions, get some assistance with that? Is that an option?
I'm always willing to talk to anybody, sure.
So, that is something you could avail yourself of and have some discussions in case there's any concern or confusion, he would be able to help guide you.
You know, adding 2 extra feet each direction, I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it's like, just feel like that would be the size of my closet,
Okay.
and sadly, you hear my problem, you give me a solution that is not even close to be reasonable, right? It's like me going to the doctor for a certain condition and your solution is
It's not like that.
put some Windex or something.
Rules are written out already.
No, I understand.
And so you're coming in asking for something that's substantial and we're
Because I
ruling-
have a need,
Yes, of course.
and I'm trying to fix it before, it consumes my life, I want to be organized. And
All right.
so with that being said, I'm not going to table it. Because
Correct.
coming back, we're just gonna have the same conversation, and I would love to see you guys again, but not for the same thing.
So let me share a perspective. Our responsibility is to listen to you with an open mind and consider an alteration to the code to be sympathetic to your needs.
Right.
We are all sympathetic to the space problem for sure. It's one of the most popular requests of us
Right.
on this board. The other part of our responsibility is to consider the character of the neighborhood in a forever timeline.
Right.
On this parcel. And so nearly 600 square feet is way outside of a reasonable request for the character of this neighborhood. You may have chosen the wrong neighborhood to collect all this awesome stuff, right? So what I think makes sense is for you to consider the character of the neighborhood and then wrap that into your own needs and consider what a different solution would be. It would be a modification and a change to the total square footage. To us, it's not about 1 or 2 new or old, it's about the square footage on this particular lot. So there has to be something that you can come up with. It's not something that we suggest to you. It does both satisfy your needs and is within the character of this neighborhood.
Okay. If you guys could put image 5, I think, of my proposal. I don't know if you can, but I just wanna talk about the character of the neighborhood, especially you brought it up. I think it's image 5 is like the up view of the neighborhood. No, the up, please. So I guess it's not there, but I do have this additional image. I don't know how I will get there, but it's pretty. Can I bring it to you guys?
Yeah,
We all went there.
Yeah.
So,
We actually.
Right.
Yep. A nice circle too, and y'all had driveways
Right.
free finished.
Trees everywhere.
Yeah.
You
It
will
was pretty home.
So. I don't,
So
know, there's a,
you're choosing not to table the application. We're going to close the application. Um,
I mean, yes, because the solution is not reasonable for my need. You know, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My recommendation would be that you withdraw the application. And if you'd like to come back at another time, right now, I think you're a little emotional because it's very close to you, the situation. But if you withdraw the application and think about it a little more and think about some of the things the
It's
board.
been over a year I've been thinking about it,
I
you
understand.
know?
But then you at least retain some options. If you
Okay.
don't withdraw, vote.
Just, sir, it's okay, you know, it's sorry, guys, you can vote on it. I don't want to take more of your time.
yeah, we're going to close it.
I mean, these guys here, you know,
Just, sorry, we're going to close it.
but
Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak? Just close it up. All right. This application is closed. Sarah, do you need?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
With regard to application number ZBA 2026-047 for an area variance, I move to deny as follows. Whereas the zoning board has, one, duly advertised and held a public hearing, two, has considered all relevant information, and three, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The aggregate ground area of all accessory buildings would substantially exceed the size allowed by the zoning code, would diminish the intended subordinate nature of accessory buildings, and is not in keeping with other properties in the neighborhood. The variance can be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The applicant could reduce the size of the proposed accessory structure and or remove the existing shed, resulting in a smaller variance. The variance requested is substantial. The total square footage is significantly greater than the area permitted by the code. The variance will have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The scale of the proposed accessory structures exceeds that contemplated by the zoning code and increases the intensity of accessory development on the property. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created. The need for the variance results solely from the applicant's desire for more storage on the parcel in lieu of continuing to use off-site storage options. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby denies the variance as presented.
I'll second that.
Hold on. Sarah, I would like to change the term accessory structure in your resolution because this is not technically an accessory structure, correct?
No,
The code, and I looked, and the
Eric.
code language I looked at explicitly said accessory structure. That's why I chose that, but I can change it if it doesn't, if it helps.
Code section that we use was for the shed.
So for the resolution to be valid, we have to call it a shed, not an accessory structure. Those are two different things by the zoning code. Is that correct?
295-9.
He is correct, that's the aggregate ground cover area for accessory buildings, which.
That's why I chose that.
I think that covers sheds.
It does.
Okay,
Accessory
no,
buildings.
that's fine. I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, so
I
second,
will second that.
seconded by Bob. All those in favor of denying the variance, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? And your variance is denied.
thank you, Sarah, for your guidance. Christian, Timothy,
Thank
Heather,
you.
Best of
Aaron,
luck.
Robert, Dana, Eric, and Kevin.
Good
Good
evening. Okay. And with that, we will call application number 2026-048 for the Goodwill Finger Lakes.
Doesn't have to get more complicated. Okay.
It's better be pretty.
No pressure, no.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jasper Greening with SW Architects at 260 South Main or East Main. Office generic is everything Goodwill, Finger Lakes, 422 South Clinton Street, Rochester, New York. We're here on behalf of, we're looking to require or request a second wall sign, property at 1000 Highland Drive, Suite 206.
Mhm.
The second wall sign, including the original wall sign and the marquee at the pylon, are all under the 250 square feet total. With the third sign, the second wall sign, being 47 square feet and will be used as a directional signage indicator to indicate to the donor to donate around back at the existing.
Are you basically just displacing Value City on the sign in front?
Correct. Yeah, on the front side.
Are they leaving?
They're gone.
There-
Yeah, they're gone.
So, hi. Uh, So, just two questions. First, this is to confirm, this is between you and Ashley Furniture, right? That little alleyway, kind of?
No, it
If
won't
you
be us in Wegmans.
Ashley,
Is it Ashley?
isn't Ashley closer to you than Wegmans?
It might be.
No, Wegmans is this way.
Oh,
Yeah, Wegmans is that.
Just over there, yeah, are we
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wegmans.
okay, so it's on the Wegmans side,
Yes,
let's
yeah.
call it that,
Yeah,
okay.
on the Wegmans, yeah, on the-
Okay, is the Goodwill that's down over by RET, is that moving?
That will be moving.
Okay, so this is,
the relocation. So
okay,
from that plaza to this plaza.
so this is in line, when I went by it the other day, and I'm really certain that there's an Ashley Furniture.
There's,
But you're right, but it's
Why
on the
not?
wrong side of the building.
I believe the Ashley Furniture is up in that same plaza, but it's towards 390.
Okay.
Yes.
When I was looking at that. But this is, basically, it's exactly in line with the existing Goodwill. Just like there's the donation
Correct.
on the wall, it's the same, really size and same,
Yeah.
okay. Those are my only questions for this. I actually don't have any issue with this.
Will the,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Uh-huh.
So we're clear, the variance is actually for the square Goodwill, second Goodwill on the front.
Yeah.
okay,
The donation is a directional sign, so it doesn't count as
okay.
sign.
And the square is replacing pound for pound, the sign that was there for Value
I
City.
guess I don't follow. I was under the question you're here for signs.
Yeah,
Yes.
my understanding, this
Yeah.
is side C on the side that says donation this way.
Right. The front sign on the.
That
on
was
the
there.
West elevation is
Donate.
permitted under the original sign. Okay.
Yeah, the old sign does.
Yeah, the,
second square next to it. But regardless, number of square footage total anyway,
Correct.
so we're here, the donation sign technically is a permitted directional.
Okay.
So we're considering Goodwill one side and then the face. the
no,
face of
my
the-
understanding is that, if you please, Heather, would you mind scrolling up just a touch?
The sign B.
No,
Yes.
or scrolling down, I guess is the better way to, stop, right there.
Okay.
My understanding is that the donate here,
That's
Is what
what
we're-
I'm here.
in
to
question.
discuss The donate here.
that's what I reviewed,
Yeah,
and I'm happy with it. But you're saying, Kevin, that,
Technically, the directional signs are permitted.
Yes.
okay.
Limit to this,
Because the front sign has two, it says Goodwill
Twice.
twice.
Oh.
Well, then you have the.
Oh, the face.
Would you mind, would you scroll one more time, Heather? To,
Sign B.
so
because I thought we were looking at sign C too.
That was my understanding, what we're presenting. with sign
So-
B.
in the application,
Then we would be here for a third wall.
So the sign is required, two signs for Goodwill, the pedestal sign in front of the plaza,
That one doesn't count for.
the marquee,
doesn't count.
and then the main Goodwill sign on the building, and then this is sign C. That's the donate now.
No, I think he's saying, tell me if I'm getting this. The word Goodwill on the front is one,
One sign.
and the face with Goodwill underneath it is the
Second
second.
sign.
Oh, is that considered? Oh,
Those are
Yeah,
the
the
ones we're looking at right now. are
That's
two
what-
signs.
The application mentions the 59 square foot sign on the north elevation, not the sign on the,
Which would be the donate here.
Again,
Yeah.
my conversation with the town prior to this is we were here for discussing the sign on the north elevation. The donate.
Sounds like that's free.
did we advertise the wrong sign then?
sorry.
I was talking to
Actually, the application is written as sign C. That's what I reviewed it for.
one minute.
And while we're doing that, so also to clarify, ooh, she's scrolling fast. So the Goodwill with the face, that's also consistent with the other locations.
That's correct. Yes, we do.
Right.
That all.
Pound for pound, same,
Yep,
same.
correct.
Okay.
The Goodwill on the front, both those signs, sign B, I guess, that'll be lit with LED.
Correct. Yeah, that's all. of it.
Okay, but the donate here will not be
The
lit.
donate here is not, that's just acrylic letters on a stand.
Will the Goodwill sign be lit all evening or all through the night, or will it shut off at a certain
I
time?
believe it's designed to shut off per regulations.
Okay.
With,
Just for clarity. Sean, I'm correct.
Say a little
Okay.
louder into your microphone.
About the
I'm not,
application.
I'm not with that. Actually, it's between Whiteman. New Good.
I just reviewed all of this property on Sunday. I'm like, I'm not imagining that Ashley,
In my head.
because the alley between, because there's and I wrote it down and now I forgot what the name of it is.
Okay.
The boot barn, looking at your Goodwill. The boot barn is if you're facing it from the road, boot barn is to the right. Initially, when I was reviewing it, I was thinking it was that wall, looked at the application and realized it's the opposite wall that's between you and Ashley Furniture, and which makes sense because that's where people would drive. So that's the donate this way.
That's what we're thinking. That doesn't,
So the front of the building is on this side.
right.
Ashley is right here.
This says 47 square feet.
The
The
application
application.
stated 59, I thought.
Right. So in your application, where it says donate here, it says 47 square feet.
It's legal.
yeah,
So-
47 is the correct size. If our, on the application, we wrote 59 left.
Okay, what about on the,
The legal notice just states for a second wall sign, doesn't give any description.
However, the application form,
Because we're not concerned about the size, right? The size overall. is
Correct.
fine.
Yeah.
So the only thing we're concerned about is the quantity of signs. And Kevin, if I hear you saying this, you're saying there's two signs and a directional sign, but the paperwork
Yeah.
indicates otherwise.
So the directional is allowed. We don't even need to count that for permission, but the front, the Goodwill is 1, the face is 2, and then the marquee is 3? Or does that not count at all? Marquee is, okay, so the 2 that are there are the face and the Goodwill.
So Eric, in terms of this application,
What do we need to do?
I think the advertisement is sufficient. Because the advertisement is for a variance for a second wall sign where one wall sign is allowed. So
It specifies 59 feet though. Does that need to be amended?
It's smaller and size isn't our concern, I thought.
and the advertisement doesn't specify the size.
it just says the second wall sign.
Right, and the donate here is a directional sign with an arrow. So we don't need to consider that. So I think you just need to consider whether or not you will approve the Goodwill sign with the half smiley face with Goodwill logo.
And so if we do decide, if the board does decide to approve the application, we do not need to make a change to the application that is before us that notes the sign C. Or,
No, I would specify it in
Okay.
the notes,
okay,
what's being approved.
okay. So does everybody understand?
And we don't need to re-advertise.
With the advertisement, did it mention the actual ordinance being appealed?
I don't know.
Yes,
224-8B1?
Correct.
Okay, that wouldn't matter if it's not, whether it's sign B or C, right?
No, it's a second wall sign.
Just the second wall sign. Okay, I just want to make sure that the ordinance being appealed was still relevant for sign B.
Okay.
Is that accurate?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's see.
So will they be bringing the donations to a door and
Correct, we're utilizing most of the existing ground doors that are not on the perfect.
I'm gonna say further resolve. Approval is condition.
Are there any other questions from the board regarding the application? No. Yes. Is there anybody who would like to speak to this application?
The goodwill logo.
Okay.
Aaron,
What-
if I may, just real quick,
Yeah.
on the front page of the application form where it says sign C, that is me as a clerical error. The legal advertisement is for a second wall sign. It does not designate which sign is which. So there is no legal issue with the application at hand. We just need to make a notation on the archived file.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak this application? Okay. And with that, we're going to close the application. You just,
yes,
need a minute to fix the resolution.
All right, give me one moment. I type pretty fast, but not instant, so just give
I'm
me.
not gonna rush it.
Chairman,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, while she's doing it, would it be possible to run to the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta see-
Okay, wait,
Close this one completely.
Okay. Yeah.
okay, I got you.
For those who are in the audience, if you would like to take a break, we are going to take a break officially in a moment, but you don't have to wait for us.
Okay, one moment. Mhm. Okay. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. With regard to application ZBA 2026-048 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesired change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties such as Ashley Furniture. On that side, I just want to call that out. I'm teasing. Because the proposed sign is small relative to the size of the Goodwill building and is in line with other Goodwill locations. Business model for Goodwill, name and face logo. I hope that's okay. That's just, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yep.
Just to be descriptive, which would be considered sign B. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative as this is the company's logo. The variance requested is not substantial. The sign is not overpowering and is well removed from signs up front. I have to take that out. It's not overpowering, basically. Sorry, I thought I was done, but just let me, hold on one second. The sign is not overpowering, so it's not substantial is what that, resolution is. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical and environmental conditions as the sign will be affixed to the existing building. The difficulty relating to this variance was not self-created. This is company logo or consistent with other locations. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented. And be it further resolved that this approval shall be subject to the following conditions, and thank you. This approval is conditional on the second wall sign being approved is the Goodwill logo that is part of the brand logo.
I'll second.
Seconded by Heather. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And your variance passes. Thank you very much.
Have a
Have a
good
good evening. All right, and with that, we will close this meeting for a 5-minute recess roughly, and we will call the next application up.
Now, why another point?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't- don't hold it out.
If there's a change, something else is required while you follow it. It's okay if you say, well, we don't.
Okay.
But better ways to do this because the transcription is gonna happen from that.
It's gotta transcribe.
So, other descriptions and stuff are fine. Don't worry about it. If there's a problem, Aaron or somebody. That's stuff.
Okay.
I thought he was.
Okay. No, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Actually, getting this out of it, I knew, I swear to God.
Well, I really thought it was the opposite. So I'm confident but wrong.
No, I appreciate that.
I make mistakes once in a
I definitely make mistakes, so I'm just glad it wasn't bad.
while. And that's that I will use this trick.
You
Oh, oh, my.
Raising the hands.
One more. And all that time drafting up so many options, so many resolutions for that.
Yeah, I saw those files.
Well, I knew it was gonna be tough, so. I didn't wanna hold everybody up like I did last month.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not-
that's wise.
I don't type as fast as Shanna.
I fill them out as much as I can before I come into this room and then modify beyond that.
Well, I also learned the first couple of times, I would just, click on the file and try to do it like right in, and I realized, no, it works so much better if you open it up in the application. Then you can actually modify. I'm learning. I'm learning.
For some reason, I don't remember the way, I don't remember us doing sort of how it's got stackable and projecting one. So I've got a separate file that says for that one specific one, it's a denial, but for the other ones, where it would say 50 to 57, what I've done is that.
Yeah, 50 to 57, but not 50. You probably have to do 50 to 52.
Just list them there. Yeah.
I would do 50, 51, 52.
Yeah.
54.
Yeah.
I don't think it's only 2026.
No, you make me laugh out loud. Please.
Oh my gosh.
You can do it. I do want one. Dude, I'm making him have some and then they're going back down.
We don't want to use
Maybe I'll grab it. No, one.
Yeah.
Kind of a savage art. So, get it in. I'm bored, guys.
it. You know,
I tried to pass them off on my two bandmates, but they're married and they're both like, no, absolutely not. We don't need that in our house. I was like, Veronica said she can, and she goes, she's like,
Let me just be fair. I'll take it.
oh, I didn't add. In addition to all the candy that I ate like a toddler, Veronica made cookies, and we
Yeah,
have cookies on the way.
I just want you to know,
I think
that
we don't really need to
Not
do
even
that for approvals.
take the bag.
Can't take
If
one.
we
No,
wanted to step
take a
denial,
big handful.
maybe appropriate.
Stay right there.
Truly, if you knew the
Yeah.
candies that I ate on the road trip today, I ate like a toddler with a credit card. No one should be allowed to have that much candy. It's not.
Yeah, I think if we want to talk about just,
The M&Ms already disappeared like quickly.
yeah,
With a quickness. With that, he was fully, Aaron's not even sharing the M&Ms. He's like, oh,
no, 100%, yeah.
Just for the record,
Yes.
for those of us
Alright, guys.
like milk duds,
You gonna get going?
microwave them for 26 seconds. It's a fact right now.
Okay, if people could please start taking their seats, we're gonna reopen the meeting.
Nice.
Okay. Heather, at 8:36, we are reopening the meeting. If the applicant for application 2026-049, please come forward. For Intech Capital LLC. Welcome.
Good evening, my name is Brian White from McMahon Rue Associates, 822 Holt Road, Webster, New York, 14580.
And I'm Harry Gleason with CBRE, 1350 University Avenue, Rochester, New York.
Okay, thank you.
And you guys are here for a front setback of 91 feet for a warehouse, whereas 125 is allowed. Can you explain a little bit to the board about how you guys got to the 91-foot setback? I know in your application you mentioned that you guys have done a couple iterations and so forth.
Correct. Yeah, so this is the third iteration of this project. Originally, it was proposed as a 60,000 square foot building. So we did have a pre-application meeting with town staff.
Okay.
Determined that both from a marketing perspective and from a size that we decreased that by 20,000 square feet. We did look at some of the parcel configurations, in particular access to the property. Originally, there was an access point off Bailey Road, which is the property line right of way that we're requesting the hearing for. We felt that that wasn't ideal for access to the property, especially for loading docks and semi-trailers. So we are proposing two access points on Tech Park Drive. The building has been positioned in a way that allows for parking in front of the building for employee parking, etc. And then the truck turnaround loading deck rear of the property. That does fit well. There is a gas main easement cutting diagonally across the north end of the property. And on the east side of the property near the loading dock, there's high transmission lines. So we fit the building in between those constraints. We feel that this is the best approachable solution to our property. In an effort to supplement some of our various requests, we are showing vegetative screening and buffering along Bailey Road, as well as the high transmission line. As we transition, driving westerly down Bailey Road, that property will be reasonably screened, in an effort again to minimize the variance request.
Okay.
Is, you show you have, I think it's 46 parking spaces, then you have some more land banked. I'm assuming, it's for really employee parking. There won't be customers coming in and out, on a regular basis.
Yeah, at this point, building would be built out back. We don't have a tenant, for the building. The design is, such that we would be able to put the tenant in the building would be the most. So we believe that the parking would be adequate use. It's typically going to be a warehouse.
Is there any reason, that the lesser setback would cause another variance for it needing a monument sign or anything like that?
Not that we anticipate.
Any other questions from the board?
When do you anticipate building this?
I'm sorry.
When do you anticipate building this?
As soon as we're able to obtain all the approvals, we would break down.
Yeah, the board is agreeable to this, we would be preparing for site plan.
But if you can, let's just, when you looked at the front setback, if the building was shifted back to meet that setback, what would the ramifications be?
It would be a significant decrease in the square footage of the building, so.
You can't just shift the whole thing, because it looks like there's some room to the rear, but I assume that would negatively impact traffic patterns?
It would impact the turning radius for semi-trailers. So we do have color concept sketch up of what that turning radius looks like. We are right at that. So the turning radius of semi-trailers, as well as 40,000 square feet, is an ideal size for future use of the property.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the board?
No.
No.
Okay. Anybody present that wishes to speak to this application? Please come forward. We'll ask you to step aside, Noel, to use the podium, please.
Good evening.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Greg Buckenbach. I'm representative of Aurora Machining and Advocate Holdings LLC, the owner of long-term operator and adjacent industrial property at 200 Tech Park Drive. We support the reasonable economic development in Henrietta's industrial corridors, including light industrial and warehouse uses that are permitted in the district. However, after carefully reviewing the application and materials, we respectfully urge that the board deny this request for a frontage setback and variance. This 34-foot, excuse me, 34-foot reduction and 27% of the required 125 feet does not satisfy the statutory criteria for area variance under New York town law. It would alter the essential character of Tech Park Drive and Bailey Road industrial corridor. The high visibility area near RIT that benefits the generous setbacks and buffered feel of the code intends, while the applicant proposes landscaping and has eliminated one access point. A building and loading operation at only 91 feet from Bailey Road would still appear more imposing and change the established attractive development and pattern that currently benefits all property owners in the park, including ours. As the adjacent owner that has invested significantly in precision manufacturing equipment and our warehouse at 200 Tech Park Drive. We have a direct interest in maintaining a professional quality, long-term value in this industrial park. Reduced setbacks set a poor precedent and could endure the very standards to make the tech park competitive and highly quality tenants and employers. The corner lot constraint is real, but not unique, and a hardship of hardly self-created by proposing the building program and layout. Feasible alternatives exist through modest reconfiguration, effective circulation design, or slightly adjacent footprint that still delivers viable space for light industrial tenants while fully complying with the 125-foot setback. We ask the board to uphold the code and a clear intent of 125-foot front yard in the industrial district, with the narrow averaging exception only with the existing conditions, is truly delicate. Denying this variance protects the neighborhood character, avoids the adjacent owners like us, and supports the town border goals of the MURA overlay and quality redevelopment. Thank you very much for your time. We happily answer the questions or provide the additional information to the town.
I have a question. What detriment do you anticipate this would cause to your facility?
That's with the owners of the facility. I'm just the representative. I can't really answer that at this time.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any further members from the audience who would like to speak to this application? Okay. Well, at this time, we'll ask the applicant to please come back forward. Okay. Does the board have any further questions based on the recent testimony? Okay.
May I contribute one more point? Sure. You know, recognizing that the corner parcel, 125 feet is, kind of recognize the code. It is a significant distance off Bailey Road in the industrial district. I feel that there's ample opportunity to address some of the screening during the planning board approval if this application would move forward.
Okay.
Fair.
I do have a question. I know you said that you guys initially were looking at maybe 60,000 square foot, and you guys had reduced it down to 40. Would you have needed to come in front of the board for a setback?
Yes, it would have, in addition to a few others. The original plan had shown loading dock in the front of the building. And I believe there was a deficiency of parking as well, so we've taken that feedback and developed this plan from that.
Okay, thank you.
Just for clarity, you've already talked to one of the other boards. They've given you feedback to parking and other things.
We had a pre-application meeting, we have not formally talked to the planning board.
So for clarification, I'm asking this in relation to the variance, not other things. You came down to 40,000 square feet. If you were to go smaller, would that impact the feasibility either financially or I guess feasibility financially for the success of the warehouse in terms of the needed space?
Yeah, obviously, the goal would be to build as large of a facility as we could. Originally, it was 60,000 foot with the desire of the developer.
Okay.
And then based on feedback from our work at the meeting, try to scale it back to make it more practical for the town.
Okay. I do have another question. I'm looking at your drawing, which happens to be on screen, and there's a very light dotted line around the whole thing that shows the rear setback, the front setback, the side, 2 front setbacks, and the 5-foot side setback. Is our application for two setbacks or one?
I was just looking at that too.
It's just one, because it's a corner lot, you have to, requirements are 125 feet, one, and the side street would be 50 foot.
So their drawing is incorrect.
Correct.
But yeah, the setback to get a tech park at this point, should have been.
Okay, so they drew it wrong. So we are only talking about the corner of this building, the southeast corner of this building.
Correct.
This is the Bailey Road side, but this is the variance that you're requesting.
That's correct.
Okay. All the other setbacks meet code, and you have parking to manage that stormwater management. What about, I know you haven't actually gone to the planning board yet, but what about like snow and other things? What is your plan for that?
Yeah, to your point, we haven't done a thorough design yet. There is buffering along the edge of the parking lot in front of the building, as well as some of the areas that would be on the southerly side, depending how the screening is placed on that area and the stormwater is addressed. We would allocate space for snow stockpile.
And just for clarity, when you're saying screening, you mean trees or things that are visual screens?
Ideally, vegetative screening, plantings. So, plus the board had our recommendation.
I do not. You have another question on the back of the lot near the loading docks. You have concrete retaining walls. Do you anticipate a substantial difference in height from the loading dock to the parking lot?
So the goal is to create 4 loading docks and 2 drive-in doors to create access for driving. So the retaining wall would be
Drive-in.
And lowering that portion of the site as well.
Right.
So further eliminate.
Yeah, the loading dock would be standard dock height.
But my point behind it is that's different than the parking spaces on the north, relatively the north and south of that. And that's why you have the dividing or retaining wall there.
Correct.
Okay.
So it would be a recessed loading dock.
I apologize. I'm still confused on setbacks. As it's a corner lot, why is the Tech Park Drive not also 125-foot setback?
The yard requirements in this district, it's industrial.
It's industrial.
One setback is set at 125 feet, and because it's a corner lot, the other front setback to give automatic relief to
50
feet is the.
Okay.
So there's plenty of space there according to that.
So it's 50 feet from Tech Park Drive and 125 from it.
Right.
Essentially, the applicant gets to choose which.
Okay.
I think another property that's north, what is it, Milestone Construction Partners? Looks like they're 125 feet from John Street, but they're much less than that to Tech Park Drive. So that's also considered a corner lot, I believe.
Yes, correct.
So so basically they meet the one on that one side, but it's closer to Tech Park Drive even than what our applicant is proposing.
So in that case, my question then would be, because we're talking about just that triangular piece within the setback of Bailey Road, and that square footage, and I understand why the rear of the warehouse to the east with the loading docks has to maintain that distance for the turning radii of the tractor trailers, but you couldn't reconfigure the warehouse to add that square footage to the north side, which is behind that, north of the retaining wall now, to compensate?
Yeah, so maintaining a rectangular shape of the building, the reason that we positioned it in this manner is to keep, employee parking separate from where semi-tractor trailer traffic would be. Again, we did relocate the entrance originally off Bailey Road. We felt that it was more appropriate off Tech Park Drive to have better circulation to the property. So for those reasons, we selected the well, it's technically a front setback, but the setback fronting on Bailey Road is 100.
Right, no, I think my question is more where you're showing the northern dumpster enclosure and parking spaces.
Yes.
If those parking spaces and dumpster enclosure shifted towards, but it wouldn't be a rectangular shape. But then again, this is on spec at the moment. There's no designated tenant. So we don't actually know if there's a formal requirement for this.
Correct. This is,
Okay.
will be used to market for tenant.
Is your question, can they reconfigure the space so that there's nothing?
Yeah,
outside
I
of-
mean, it's a small amount and can't they, move that to that area where that dumpster enclosure is and minimize the need for the variance?
Or eliminate?
Yeah.
Also, what is, okay, so the side that's facing Tech Park Drive.
Hang on,
is-
I want to make sure that Sarah's question is
Sorry.
answered. So, go ahead, please.
This lead to, regular shaped building with
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. It's technically, I suppose it's possible but undesirable as far as the marketability and the center of that property and the flexibility of cost. So typically with this style of construction, it's rectangular structures.
Is it a metal building?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
Steel frame.
And there'll be a block,
Yeah.
all at 8 feet and they'll be flat and stuff from the top.
Mhm. Yeah. They're usually rectangular.
All right, Chris, you-
No, I just want to make sure that I have it right here. So basically the side of the building that's facing Tech Park Drive, the setback as proposed is 94 feet. Is that right? It looks like it says here. Because it's less than 125. I'm just curious what.
But that's where they're saying it should.
So
be
no, they
only
only need 50 feet.
They only need
We
50.
only need 50 feet, so I know that side is not a problem. I'm just saying that, and I'm not suggesting we move the building closer to Tech Park
got it.
Drive. I'm just kind of saying, so I'm just trying to think of what area we do have to play with here because it's, so on the Tech Park Drive, it's 94 feet from setback, basically right now is what is proposed, and 91 feet from Bailey.
That's correct.
Okay, just want to make sure.
For the building.
For the building, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's to allow space for, parking lot.
Mhm. So it could theoretically, I mean, I'm not saying, I know this would cause a problem with the tractor trailers in the back. It could be moved back to 125 feet on the Tech Park side, and it would still be 50 feet from Bailey, and it would meet that, but I know that it would cause a problem then with the tractor trailers turning around.
Or it could go the other way.
That would be the alternative, is to flip the setbacks, but that puts the building much closer to the high transmission line, and it allows, really eliminates our ability to have a turning radius for a semi-trailer on what I would consider the rear of the building.
And if you,
Right.
if you push that further back, you also eliminate the ability to have screening behind the building as well.
Right, I understand. I'm just trying to look at it, so I see that it's,
Okay.
yeah, I just was curious, but I'm just looking to see what options we had, if any.
Are there any further questions from the board?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Buddy in the audience who would like to speak to this application? Yep, go ahead. So we'll ask you to step aside.
Mike Stafford, I was just wondering,
Mike, can you just please state your address for the record?
I'm sorry, 32 Essex Drive. Thank you.
Thank you.
If this is gonna be a warehouse and 60,000 square feet, how many?
40.
40,000, okay, sorry. How many parking spots are required? I just,
46 plus
required?
Six are required and I think 70.
1, 2, 3.
I was just thinking warehouse, how many people you have working in a warehouse? You need that many parking spots. Just, that might not be for this board or, but that might help on the setbacks.
They exceed the required parking spot
Right.
by a good amount.
Right, and my question is, if it's truly gonna be a warehouse,
Yeah.
why do they need that many parking?
So 78 spaces and 40 are required.
Is that the only question, Mike?
Yep, that's my question.
Okay. Can you come back and please respond to that?
Yeah, I think the question was, is it gonna be a warehouse? And I think part of that is gonna be dictated obviously by demand. This building would be built on speculation. And, we'll obviously seek any, qualified and properly zoned tenant for the building.
Well, I think the question was more of why do you need that much parking if it is a warehouse facility, right?
I think that's what you're saying, those built on spec, so
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be
Okay.
a warehouse or something else.
Okay, so you don't know if you'll need the parking for
It
other
could
use.
be, it could be a light assembly or some other,
Okay.
use.
And I will acknowledge as well, that the space is directly adjacent to the front of the building, the 46 spot, I believe, part of the 78 north is expanding parking, so it wouldn't be constructed initially as part of the.
Mhm.
Okay, you just have a room
Platform.
carved out.
For-
Yeah, down by the line.
Mhm.
For the lives in the future.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak further? Okay. And any further questions from the board? Okay. With that, I will close this application.
With regard to Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2026 49 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that zoning board of appeals make the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The building is positioned and will flow like adjacent commercial properties in terms of loading dock access and traffic. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The parcel is a corner lot, and in order to have the entrance off of Tech Drive, this is the most feasible option that included factors like parking, building size, and impermeable space, which will best suit the applicant. The variance requested is substantial, as the applicant is asking for approximate 27% reduction for the front setback. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The applicant will be adding a vegetation buffer along Bailey Road. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created. However, with granting this variance, this will allow the position of the building to allow the best functionality of the space, and the applicant took into consideration trying to ask for the least variances as possible, and be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second that.
Second by Bob. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, Sarah opposes. Your variance is approved. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Oh.
Oh, no more napping. Okay. The application number 2026-050 Raising Cane's Restaurants.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jerry Goldman. I'm the attorney and agent for Raising Cane's Restaurants. With me tonight are Nan Weisel, who is the project coordinator from Raising Cane's, and Karen Lobdanowski, who is the project architect from Bowler Engineering. This evening, we're here to consider the sign package for the site. Previously, last month, you took a look at the front setback, and now we're back on the signage. The signage really has two elements. We have signage which really is required for traffic and safety reasons, and we have architectural elements which may or may not be considered signage. I think you have the plans in front of you or have
do.
them available. We do. I'm gonna walk over to the board. I'm gonna speak a little bit loudly. If for some reason it doesn't get picked up unless, do you have a hand up? Oh, there we go. We got it.
Oh, wow.
He's gonna start singing though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be new.
I will.
Jerry, the
Close
microphone
the
is a little
microphone.
delicate.
I'm sorry.
Was that Heather?
Oh, just saying that the microphone is a little delicate. I do apologize.
I will try to keep it as close to my mouth as possible. If I swallow it, just stop me. We have, obviously, this property is located between the existing Shake Shack and Panera Bread, if you will, on Jefferson Road frontage. I think we're all familiar with what we were talking about. It's the out parcel to the Hobby Lobby Plaza, Minotti Plaza. I'm gonna kind of walk around the entire site and we'll take a look at it. We have the front is essentially the drive-through, and that's the frontage piece. Actually, I kind of like this to show what it is we are talking about. We have Jefferson Road frontage over here, and then we have the drive-through, and then we have four sides of the building, obviously, to deal with. Our signage has elements of both traditional signage and architectural design, which may or may not be considered signage. Kevin and Chris and Kevin's department met for pretty much close to an hour to review all of this, and I'll point out the ones that we spent the most time on trying to figure out whether in fact they were a sign or weren't a sign. But along Jefferson Road frontage, we do have the standard identification sign, which is important, obviously, for us to be able to see from Jefferson Road. In addition, we have what is an architectural element, which is a mural, if you will, along the front. Now, we heard in the pre-discussion of the board that there was some concern about redundancy. And we do have the ability to be flexible relative to what goes on the mural, but the mural has some importance in that we have a 91-foot expanse, roughly 91-foot expanse along the frontage, and to keep it all without any real breakup is something which typically we like to avoid from a design point of view. So the mural is designed to create that kind of breakup. And in reality, it's going to be somewhat impaired from view because it is the drive-through that's going to go right in front. So that is, so I guess the first consideration that we have to make is whether in fact we consider that to be a sign or whether we consider that to be an architectural element. And that's something for the board to consider. So as we move on, we have the front entry elevation. I'm going to hop right up to the front entry. The front entry is the entry which faces Panera Bread. And that is the front door, literally, of the site, and has the identification sign, which is important to demonstrate where the door is. The One Love lettering is something which is the desire of the developer and property owner. Raising Cane's is an individual who is very much in tune with a lot of social issues and wants to convey that issue of one love, which is part of their materials. Actually, it's on all their emails and everything else. So along that side, we're depicting that, and then there's a question really as to what does that sign, what does this represent? Is it a sign or is it more or less an architectural element? Then we have the rear elevation. The rear elevation is what faces the Shake Shack area. And that has an identification sign, if you will, for people who are coming on Jefferson Road. So if they're traveling west on Jefferson, coming through the intersection, they'll be able to identify the building early enough so that they can get themselves in preparation. Again, another issue that we have to deal with is median here. And because of the median, we have to try to make it as easy as possible for people to get in. In order for people to get into the site, if they're coming west on Jefferson Road, if they see the sign, they could very well come into Clay Road and make a right turn and come in the entrance of the site, which would be in the plaza on Clay Road. Otherwise, if they're traveling in this direction, and if they want to get through, they're traveling in this direction, and if they want to get into the site, there's a median here. So what they would have to do is to come down Jefferson and make a U-turn and come back and break at the median and then enter the plaza in the plaza entrance. So we're trying to give people as many options as possible to be able to get in. And that takes us to the elevation, which is in the back. If you're considering Jefferson Road to be a frontage, and taking a look at what itself, we have the sign, which is there. We also have the dog, which is Keen's 3, which is actually the third dog that that this owner has had. And again, a question as to whether this really is an architectural element or a sign. If it's deemed to, we've made application for everything as a sign. Okay, so everything that we're talking about are things that we've made application for. It's a question of how people feel. This sign is incredibly important, even though it faces internal to the plaza. It also is visible from Clay Road, and we expect that we're going to be seeing traffic that's going to come off the expressway and come in that direction. And we want them to be able to, and we want them to encourage them to come into the plaza before they hit the Jefferson Road intersection. This being Shake Shack over here. If they don't see and they don't identify the Raising Cane's by the time they hit this driveway, then again, they have to come this way, make a left turn, come around the median, and make that U-turn and then back to the plaza. So each of these signs that we have here are literally designed as traffic and safety issues. The rest of it we consider to be architectural elements. There is one architectural element that that we had discussed at length and probably took about half of the time that we discussed. And there is, you take a look at this front elevation, there is a number 1, which is here. Okay, that number 1 basically is an accent panel, which is there. It is somewhat offset and frames the entrance. I think that there was some question as to whether in fact that was a sign or not. If it wasn't in the brand book, and if I didn't bring it up, I'm not sure that we would even be talking about it, because it just seems to blend in with the architecture itself.
Me 10 minutes to find it.
I'm sorry?
It took me 10 minutes to find it.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy to find. It's not easy to find. And it has some value in terms of, again, giving us some architectural relief in terms of the sign and in terms of the site. So that is pretty much a rationale for the signage that we have. It does, it does seem like we have a number of variances, obviously. But if we were to take the architectural elements out, what we consider to be architectural elements, we would be down substantially in terms of our variances. we would essentially eliminate the 3 variances and the square footage total variance. We would be talking about half as.
And specific, what are those 3 specifically? The number 1, the dog, and the mural? Okay.
Correct.
Are you proposing that you make those changes?
Wait, well, when you say make those changes, we're not proposing any changes at this point.
Okay.
What we're saying is that if there's a concern about redundancy with the Raising Cane sign and a mural which says Canes, this is our primary interest in making sure that that sign is there, and we can substitute for that particular mural, so that it's not.
I thought the language you used was if we were to remove the 3 architectural, as if that was a consideration.
We would, if those are removed as variances,
Right.
then we would have less variances. But
So
we
not
do.
if they
His
remove them.
point is, instead of saying their signs, he was hoping that the town.
Yeah, it's an
They're not.
it's an interpretation on your part.
Nice.
Is the way they are. I think it was a flip a coin type of thing, and we all opted to say, let's put it all in front of the zoning board and have you guys take a look at the overall so you could see what it looks like and make that determination. So, we, hearing the workshop discussion, I don't know if this is something that you want to discuss in terms of an alternative treatment over here, exactly how we want to approach it, but basically that is our presentation. We had the letter of intent, which goes through all the legal standards and everything else for variance. We also walked through these signs there as well.
So that explains my question to the rest of the board of what the quote from Woods Ovitt was. ZBA may deem artwork and not a sign. I think that's your point, right?
That's the
Artwork
point.
or architectural as opposed to sign. Got it.
That's the point.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have more, Tim?
Yeah. I think that you heard our preamble before the meeting was opened.
Right.
To me, I'm one of 7, is that the mural is an exact replica and is therefore redundant and unnecessary on that west side.
Okay.
That's my primary concern. The other sides, I think the building is beautifully designed. Well done to the team. That's my concern. The dog, I don't consider a sign because it's not a branding logo push.
It is a sign.
It is a sign.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Technically a sign. Maybe.
Yeah, but in terms of
Kevin is shrinking behind because he talked about, well, if we take the words Raising Cane off of the bandana, then maybe it won't be a sign because it's a dog. It's a dog.
Maybe.
Maybe. Or maybe relative to it. Yeah, it's really a question of what the comfort level is of the board with the overall look of the building.
Yeah, and
The definition of sign per our code.
Yeah.
right. And so in my mind, focusing on the preservation of the character of the neighborhood, my only concern is that mural is redundant on that face.
Tim, I want to offer this too. I guess I don't necessarily have an issue with the content of the sign. It is a little different.
Which
with the
one, Eric?
Henrietta and One Love on the mural. I actually have more concern about having what I would call a sign versus something painted on the building. So I wonder if we would want a condition where that sign is painted on versus a physical sign attached to the building.
In fact, it is. I don't know if you want to speak to that. I always like to have our people participate, and very often they don't want to. But since you have a microphone, why don't you talk a little bit about the mural and exactly the construction of it?
So the mural is painted directly onto the building. I apologize, is this working?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. The mural is directly painted onto the building. Square footage is stated as 139.5 square feet. I know that it's a large artistic feature. This is something that Raising Cane's wants to utilize at every location across the country. We have over 1,000 restaurants, and it is very small on the screen, but it will say Henrietta. Or should you want to say, town of Henrietta or whatever you'd like it to say, that is typically how we differentiate between the different locations. Usually a local artist will be used, and it'll be obviously touched up over time so that it's preserved as a crisp mural.
And that's And I'm one of seven, but I'm thinking of the forever. So if Raising Cane's were to move or not be in this building anymore, if we just approved it as another sign, somebody else could build a physical sign and put it there as well with it instead of just a painted mural.
I think that it would be appropriate to have a condition on that one be that it be a painted mural.
Right.
Period. And that would resolve that issue.
Yeah,
Doesn't resolve things.
from my perspective, whether it's projected from a projector or painted or a separate board, it's a redundant advertisement.
Tim, I got a
Right.
thought on this.
Yeah.
But two questions first. Just to be clear, most of the other signs that are not painted on the wall are light up signs, right?
That's correct.
And one of the things that I was thinking about as he talks about his presentation that I did not consider earlier because I was sort of in line with your thought process. If somebody misses this and they're on Jefferson heading west towards Markham's Mall, they will have to go and turn around in front of Chick-fil-A. I imagine they're a competitor of yours. It looks like you guys are chicken. I've never heard of Raising Cane's before, but it's a chicken. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's chicken fingers and it's incredibly popular. I mean, it's crazy amount.
To it. I just am sorry that I'm not familiar with
It's a Gen Z thing. I mean, in college campus, it's crazy.
The other thing, if they go the other direction and miss it and go past Clay accidentally, they're now going by Dave's Chicken. I think it's called Dave's
Hot
Sure, car wash.
after a car wash for sure. But they might stop. But the point behind it is, I think the signage on the north face of this building is their most important signage. And I actually find the other side to be much less important. Not that they're zero importance, but much less important in my eyes. And I would not have said that if you didn't give your wonderful presentation and really dazzle me with your architectural.
Yeah,
but I feel like I feel like because of their situation there and their direct competition, which is their choice, by the way.
Yeah.
The building's not even there yet, so this is their choice. But I think that's a big factor in this decision.
But what are you saying is that you think it makes sense to have Cane's twice on the north side?
I sort of do.
But
I think the picture, I'm sorry, the drawing aspect of it, meaning more than this industrial sign, somebody's painting it, I think has more charm to it than others, in my opinion. And I think that is much more of an architectural, what is your word? Feature.
Yeah. Well, this, I know it's not gonna be, it's painted. Is it gonna be lit at all with downlights up?
We would have, it's not gooseneck lighting, but,
If you zoom in on that elevation, actually, there's a small light that is a horizontal bar just above the mural that only lights the mural itself.
Okay.
And
And
it's a soft glow.
a soft glow.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I guess my other question is this your typical signage package for this prototype?
This is our typical signage packages. Yes.
pare it down a little bit.
Slightly pared down a little bit, but this
That's
is
unbelievable.
So you had mentioned you've got over 1,000 locations.
correct.
Do they all have these signs or is there a lot of variability? Because I know it's this typical signage package, but how much variability is it where some locations only have half of these signs and some have all of these signs?
So some jurisdictions have different zoning regulations and codes. So I
Sure.
will say there's actually some locations that are far more custom with more signage, as well as there are some sites that have fewer signs as well. I don't know these.
I'm guessing any site in New England is gonna look a little different because for the most part, when it comes to signage, they're quite different than everybody else, but
So you do have some with far fewer signs?
not far fewer.
We do have some with fewer signs, correct?
Okay.
But it is our goal.
Do you know what your minimum, so I'm just curious, like what your base signage, not saying that's where we're going, I'm just curious, like what
code would dictate would be and a zoning board.
Well, I mean, and the point that I made is an important one, I think, relative to the signage here. Because of the fact that we have the median and because of the fact that we don't want people missing it even more than normal because of the median and because of everything else. We think that the four sides really do need the signage identification. Now, as far as we're concerned, pretty much the rest of everything else is architectural.
So Bob, are you saying, is part of what your point was that because of the median and the turnaround condition, it does make sense to have these two canes?
I didn't say that.
So why not
I don't
all,
love that, by the way.
what about all the other businesses that are on
What ones are an example where there's,
Panera?
what's their direct competition on the other end of the turn on both sides?
In terms of a similar type of food?
Yes.
But,
It's only one.
but how is that our jurisdiction to support
It's
their?
a decision that in my head justifies the benefit to the applicant versus a detriment to the neighborhood. I think the benefit to the applicant is higher than the detriment to the neighborhood.
Yeah, but even though Shake Shack is different in its burgers, they still only have one sign and there's 20 burger joints on Jefferson Road.
What are 20 burger joints?
Yeah, but like if
don't think there are.
if I'm looking for McDonald's and I accidentally pass it, because I also had that today. If I'm looking for McDonald's and I accidentally pass it and there's a Wendy's, in my head, I still want McDonald's. There's still a burger, you know what I mean? So it's like even though there's other chicken places, I think you have in your head. Maybe not always, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just convenience. Like,
Yeah,
I'm pulling this one then. But you do kind of have it in your head. Just like that's just my thought on that. You have it in your head which one you're going to. So I don't know that that's.
Do you have an idea of how much the drive-through will obstruct these signs on the frontage of Jefferson Road?
It will not have any impact on the upper sign at all.
Right.
Okay.
But on the mural?
It will impact the mural to some degree because it is down at a level, I think that probably the top part of the sign probably would be visible
Right.
even unless we have some major tractor trailers coming through the drive-through. Nan, what point did you want to make?
Yes.
To Mr. Beckham's point, if you're not aware of Raising Cane's, and there are buildings where obviously there's fewer signs that would be seen on each elevation, some might say that there's a missing feature or a missing artistic representation that could actually denote a building for a customer to quickly see the building. As everyone has known, there's no Raising Cane's up here, even in the larger area of upstate New York. This will most likely be the first one built in the area. So having appropriate signs on all locations or all elevations will make sure that the building is properly signed and adequately direction towards the drive-through.
I'm all about signage being traffic and safety. So I consider traffic and safety one piece, architecture being another.
I think one logo sign per wall face is sufficient for safety and awareness. That's just my opinion.
I'm in one vote.
Yeah.
Without that mural sign on that facade, if that were, and I'm not saying I'm for or against, I'm just asking, if that wasn't there and forgetting the number of signs, would that bring them within the square footage?
No, it would still be above 250.
A lot.
Because that sign is,
Close.
isn't that?
Well, let's put it that way. I'm sorry, it's close.
It's big. 15 and a half. 139 square feet.
139.
So 140.
It would be slightly under the 250 without it.
So a reduction in the size of that, and I don't know if that is an option, could bring us much closer to the square footage, would still.
Personally, I think because of the building and the scale of the building, I think it would be less appealing out it. I think it breaks up the scale of the building.
I did want to point out they are for us for 8 wall signs. So, and it is in perpetuity of the property, 50 years
Right,
down the road, you need to take it down. That another building could put up 50, or I'm sorry, 8 wall signs.
But if in fact this board were to say that the architectural elements are not signs.
I don't know.
Yeah, they fit the definition.
I'm making it.
Eric, can we say that? Not for all.
No,
of them,
because-
some of them,
Right,
I think.
semantics, but
The number-
You also can condition the signs to be of a certain type and certain size and everything else. So you can define it.
Yeah, I mean, our code defines signs very broadly. And basically, it's any public facing display or structure. So that would cover a mural. Any public facing display or structure intended to convey information or advertising. So even the dog with the words on it, Raising Cane.
Well,
I mean, if you take Raising Cane off, then maybe there's an argument that it's not advertising or displaying any
What about the
information.
one?
The mural?
The number one.
In my opinion, the one is more architectural. I mean,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah, the reason I called it a sign is because one lot was part of their
Brand.
Logo brand.
what the lettering one of certainly is a little bit different than an architectural element that just shows the number one. To my anyway.
Right.
We spent a half hour talking about that. It's obvious. I mean,
I think in our meeting, I had mentioned you didn't label that with the arrow.
nobody would have noticed.
On it,
Right.
number one.
yeah.
I had to put it in there just to be fair and second.
So does that mean, Eric, does this mean that we are allowed to say the one which is labeled as number 8, if I'm reading it right,
Mhm.
is not a sign?
We could make that determination, yes.
I would agree with that. It looks like a design element. There's no words or message.
It doesn't convey any information. In my opinion, it doesn't convey any information.
And the dog, but because it says cane,
It says Raising Cane on it.
yeah, that was problematic.
We can strip his bandana or take the lettering off his, we can take the lettering off of that if that's something the board wants us to do. That would take us out of the sign.
I think that helps us a lot with some of the question that we have in sign footage and also the scale of the request of the 8 signs. We just took it down to 6.
Mhm.
Yep, it's still a lot, but that's if we keep everything else.
Mhm.
Tim, you're right in this one, right?
Correct.
What do you think, Aaron?
I would agree that the number one, I don't consider to be a sign. To me, it's not branding, or yeah, it's an architectural element. It's not branding the restaurant. And I think that actually I agree with the dog's bandana. I mean, it would really lessen the variance significantly because the dog is 8 by 4. I also would extend, I think, how the board feels about the condition of keeping the mural as, one of these signs is the painted mural and not a different type of sign. So it remains painted on the building instead of being a plastic metal, something projected off the building. Yeah.
Right, but you could condition that sign as being
painted.
a painted mural on the wall.
Okay.
Just curious if I can add, like, what in your mind is better about that or worse about that?
To me, it gives a certain character to the building, and
Okay.
it gives an architectural element to the building. Another sign to me would not.
Okay.
And future issue too is that they could, because it's a painted building, someone doesn't have to do it that way. They could come back and if Raising Cane says Rochester's an awful place to work. And they sell this building, someone could put a sign with lighting behind it and other things. That's not limited to a painted sign. If we don't stipulate it.
Yeah.
Or they could paint whatever they want in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we go too much further, assuming that we take, for the board, if we take the lettering off the bandana, we put the condition that the Raising Cane's mural is painted to the building in its current design, and then we also say that the number one is an architectural element. I'll take a straw poll real quick to see where we are.
Can we make the painting and the building an architectural element? No, because it's all the signs.
No.
Yeah.
Painting is a sign, mural is a sign.
Yeah, okay.
The definition clearly says even painted to a building is
Right.
still a sign.
So is it the bandana and the cane 3 that would have to come off? Because
Yeah. Well, the dog will be there wearing a bandana that doesn't have any identification.
It just can't have the canes on
But would the cane 3 below it go away
It
too?
would have to.
You see what I
it.
mean?
Well, does the
Could I still say King the Third?
cane the
it's a
third is the
dog
dog's
name.
Is
name?
that considered branding or is it just considered the name of the dog? I mean, I know it's a
I mean,
dangerous.
I see it as not branding because the restaurant's name is
is.
Raising Cane.
Kind of like the chicken on the side of the Chick-fil-A. I mean, I don't think they came in and got a variance for that.
I'm one of 7 though. I mean, I don't know if I would consider the cane the third.
You ask the question again.
So if the package were to have the conditions that bandana to remove the Raising Cane's chicken fingers from the bandana, the one is an will be considered an architectural element, and that the mural remain a painted sign on the side of the building as presented. A yes or no on that resolution too. Yes, and the one is architectural.
For just removing the cane, Raising Cane out of bandana, we're still considering that a sign.
What's that?
You're still considering that a sign.
Or an architectural element. Because I think if it's a sign, it should put canes on it. If it's an architectural element. then-
My opinion.
Right.
That is this big.
Yeah.
And it's on the back of the building. And actually, it looks.
Which is sort of the front side though.
Would they still be under the square foot limit?
I don't.
If you count the mural does kick us pretty much over the 250.
But again, you're.
So if they need to,
Variance for the square footage.
Right.
I'm just, yeah.
So let me ask this first, the board members. Do we think we should consider the dog a sign and include it in the package, or do you think we want to consider an architectural element to remove it from the signage and remove the canes? So,
And the benefit is what? Is that we don't have as many signs.
correct.
It would be 6 signs
I mean,
versus.
7 or 6.
Yeah.
on paper,
Right.
practically speaking,
It's
the
still there.
benefit is
A sign.
very limited.
But
Right.
the benefit is also that somebody can't come back and have that many signs because we determined it as a sign in the future.
I'm less concerned with this may be an ignorant question, but if we take the dog, take the canes off of his bandana, so now we're not calling him a sign anymore?
Correct. He would be considered an architectural feature in theory.
So does that mean any building like Panera can just paint a big old whatever on their building?
I get it.
No, really, like I'm actually not,
No, yeah.
like, because it really, in that sense, it is a sign. Otherwise,
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
building can just go
It's a valid point.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it has to stay a sign because it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a different question. You consider it a sign,
Mhm.
the cane, the dog. Do you consider the dog a sign?
I think I have to.
Okay.
I don't want to, but I have to.
Okay.
I know, I like him.
If it's just a picture of a dog, I don't think it's a sign.
Okay. And then,
But as it stands now, it's a sign as per Eric's definition.
okay, and if they remove does that include the cane, the third as a name, or do you think that has to be removed too to make that not a sign?
We're splitting hairs. If I wasn't part of this group and I saw a picture of a dog that said cane 3, I would say that's neat. They've got a mascot. But I'm less concerned about the back of the building. To me, the character of the neighborhood is about the thousands of people that go up at the north side.
Yeah.
Not because if you're already back there, you're already headed towards that, or you're going to the Hobby Lobby. So the numbers are insignificant compared to the north side.
Okay. Christian, do you think the dog?
I think it's a sign, because honestly,
Okay.
it's just like the BJ's.
Okay.
That sign does say Cane 3, and underneath it does say our legacy namesake.
Right. And Sarah, do you consider that a sign?
I think it's a sign, but I'm less concerned with the number of signs than I am with the square footage.
Okay. So I don't think there's any point in having a discussion about the canes on the bandana if everybody considers it a sign. So I'm going to ask the next question. If we were to say that the mural is put in place as is. The one is an architectural element. And am I forgetting any other one to talk about?
The one.
No,
You said that. You said,
you
Right.
just have to subtract the square foot of the one out of the approval for.
Right, for the square footage. Would you approve the resolution with those, what are they called? Conditions, there we go. Shauna? Yes.
So that would technically be 7 signs we're approving? If we
Yes,
take the
for
big
moving
number
one.
1,
Yes.
which is 7, and the one tower is 54 square feet, 53.66 square
Yeah.
feet, taking away. What was your question? Would I approve
Would you approve that?
the 7? I don't love that there's 7 signs, but having been to a Raising Cane's down south, this is the restaurant package, so yes, I would.
I'm fine with
Are you okay with that?
no, to me, the mural or sign or whatever, it doesn't matter to me how that's presented. I see 2 logos and slogans on the front of the building. And I think that's a detriment to the neighborhood. I can imagine every restaurant thinking, we've changed the rules. I'll put up a second sign for my company on the front.
Okay, Christian?
Yeah, I do see that it's redundant on that side. We did the same thing recently with the 5-minute.
Sorry, I just want to keep it to,
Sorry, yeah, okay, it's redundant
okay, so you're a no on passing that resolution.
on that one, yes.
Okay, Sarah?
I'm okay with everything but 53 on the mural. That one I'm not in favor of at the moment.
Okay.
Let me throw something out because Nan heard your comments and went back to the architectural people who texted her something who Heather put on a slide. And we have an alternate for the mural. Now, Heather, I don't know if you can get that one up.
Gotta love modern technology.
There we go. And I better explain this one because I didn't understand it the first time.
You literally did that while we were talking?
That's already on the side.
Are you all seeing the same thing that's on the screen?
Yes.
It's a fish, a dog, a one, a hat, and a golf ball.
Well, Nan can explain it better because I looked at it and I said, oh.
So this is an alternative to the mural, which is, as we showed, was painted on that Jefferson Road frontage. One Love is a heart-shaped emblem, city name will be Henrietta, but individual icons are to depict the history of the restaurant. Todd is the founder of the restaurant. He purchased the first restaurant by salmon fishing in Alaska, which is why there's a salmon. The dog, Raising Cane, is his dog. I will admit Cane's 3 is because it was founded in 1996. Dogs don't live that long. So I will say there will eventually be a 4, a 5, etc. So in terms of the verbiage on the dread dog, I wouldn't focus too much on that. We can always change that. He actually loves Elvis. So this ball on the upper right is a construction hat because he helped build his own first restaurant in Louisiana. And then 1 is actually more in reference to a One Love for chicken fingers. It is a very focused menu. There are 5 items, including the sauce. The drive-through is very quick, unlike some of the other competitors of any nature in the market.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
The square footage, I apologize, is 111.38 square foot. So that is a little bit smaller than the proposed 139.5 of the alternative mural.
Okay.
And that
Better. What do you think of that?
That would be a mural also?
That solves
There
the
would
problem.
also be a mural.
The painted alternative.
Correct.
Sorry, what was
Great.
this versus the other one?
That's 111.
Square footage?
As opposed to 130, I think 135.
139.50 is
Yeah,
what the other one is.
139.50.
What's this one?
111.38.
Okay, thank
A
you.
little smaller.
I'm actually,
I like that.
I like this
Okay.
better.
I'm gonna just ask the board a quick question. We have some other people who've been waiting very patiently all night under variances. So if we are going to continue this discussion further, much more, I'd like to table this and get the other ones done. If we think we're gonna wrap this up, we're close to, I will keep it going.
I would recommend.
Yeah,
I feel, I don't know how the hell to write it up, but I think we got it.
Tim, I think all you have to do is
On number 1, change it from a sign to an architectural element.
and your explanation would be the number 1 sign could get ripped out of there, right? You can say
Well, I think
You can interpret it as part of the decision. You can make an interpretation that,
Well,
in fact, it's an architectural element and not a sign.
right, it's brick,
That
right?
would just be withdrawn?
Hang on.
No, I'm sorry.
That's true too.
Is the one brick? Are those
No.
bricks?
What is it?
Oh, what is it?
The reclaimed carbon out of Texas.
Reclaimed?
You know where it's gonna be salted and rusted in a year. We know that. Everyone.
They're finished, but yeah,
That's awesome.
So if they just withdraw the application for sign number 8, which is the one.
Then that's fine, as long as Kevin's going to issue a permit for it. I'm happy. Good,
okay.
good.
So
And then you gotta write notes on the mural being the new design.
right.
At
The sign.
111 square feet.
Yep.
Yeah, specify that.
And the total square foot exception would be modified slightly less.
So what's the total square footage that we're
What's the number one is sign number 8.
53.66.
So
And
minus 53 and minus, what was the other 27 or something like that?
Still doesn't get us below 250.
No, but it's a smaller,
Closer.
4 square feet.
What's our total? 293.95?
280.
283.90.
So that's 4 logo wall signs at 30.75 square. The new painted mural you just saw is 111.38. The red dog, we're considering a side,
Correct.
32 square feet, and the One Love channel letters are 17.57. And then we subtracted 53.66 for the one tower and didn't include that.
so what was your total?
To round it, say 284.
Round it up.
Yep.
Yeah. 285.
285.
Cover an inch.
And that's for 7 signs.
7 sides.
correct, not 8. Okay.
I can't wait to try. I'm really hungry.
To make sure we don't hit the
Yeah, I am too. Can we please stop talking about
Are you good? You're good.
I am very good, and I'm also very hungry.
You're good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Christian, are you good with that? We just got. That. I'm beyond that point. I need to plug in. I'm
You could take this one. Here.
I have my hunter. That's it. You know what? I ran into Steve on the phone. I hope you have a good year. Nah, I did that too. It wasn't their fault.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody still with us. I know this is a late evening for you all. Yeah, but we.
I don't know if you said last month, when is this proposed to open?
When is this?
When are you opening?
Yeah, when is it going to open?
Well, we have to still go through site plan approval, so we have
Yeah,
a couple
it's been
more
a few
steps.
ways, but what are you anticipating?
I think at this point, it's got to be early 2027, if that's correct.
Yeah.
You have to wait.
First U27 build program, huh?
Have a snack.
Okay, got it.
Okay, you're all set?
Yes.
All right, with that, I will close this application.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to applications number ZBA 2026-050 to
Tim,
057.
I'm so sorry, I have to stop you. I'm gonna reopen the application because I have to ask if there's anybody who would like to comment on this application. And with that, the application closed. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to applications numbers ZBA 2026-050 to 57 for area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The signage quantity is substantial, but each side of the building has a reasonable and professional appearance. It achieves the intended purpose of brand awareness. The variance can be achieved by some other feasible alternative. There are lots of options for brand recognition and advertising. This proposed package is substantial, but a reasonable solution that ensures identification of the restaurant from all angles. The variance requested is substantial. This request is for a package of 8 total signs, 3 of the 4 sides of the building, each having 2 signs. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions, as the signs are wall-mounted and will not affect the environment. The difficulty related to the variance was self-created by the marketing team of Raising Cane's, but the package looks professional and within the character of the neighborhood. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approve the variances as presented. And be it further resolved that this approval shall be subject to the following conditions. Mural number 5 will be modified to be defined as artwork instead of a sign, and will not include company name, logo, or advertising language. Sign number 8, identified as, quote, 1 tower, end quote, will be considered an architectural element instead of a sign, reducing the total signage to 7 instead of 8.
I'll second.
Seconded by Bob. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Opposed?
Heather is opposed, and the variance is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yes.
Okay. For the applicant for 2026-058 at 35 Kathy Drive, please come forward. Heather, is this the one online?
Yes, Tim's online.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Tim Artasa, 35 Kathy Drive.
Hi, could you just go over really quick what you want to do for the application, please?
Yeah, I'm just looking to replace a fence that's deteriorating. And the fence, unaware to me, or not known to me that when I went to apply for this, required a variance based on where it's currently been set. So I'm literally just looking to replace what's currently there with newer, just because what's there is deteriorating.
Okay. And you want to replace it, it's currently a wooden fence, you want to replace it with a vinyl fence?
That's the anticipation. I want to still price out either, but it'll either be a new stockade or it'll be a vinyl.
And if it's vinyl, what color would the vinyl be? Would it be white?
It will be white, yes.
Okay. And if it's stockade, it would be like a wooden color, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay. And it's just going to be the exact same footprint as the current one, just new?
Yes, exactly the same where it currently is. If anything, it'll have to come in a little bit more away from the road, along the roadside, just due to some tree roots that are, I think, causing the current fence to do what it's currently doing.
Okay, so possibly a little less than what is currently there. Okay.
Correct.
I have no other questions.
Any further questions from the board? No.
No further questions, but I did want to note that a resident did want to give positive feedback. Beth Mossworth at 14 Sheriff Place.
Okay.
Nice to hear.
All right. Is there any comment from anybody present in the audience? And with that, I will close the application.
Sweet. And just so I'm clear, I can't put a a shed that takes up the entire size of my backyard in my backyard. Is that accurate?
You're on architectural mural.
Okay. Yeah.
That was
And
a good
dogs
one.
with bandanas without my last name is okay.
Too soon,
Got it.
Tim.
I think just so for future purposes.
You're
I just
lucky
wanna
you're
make sure.
online.
I want to reconsider.
That was pretty funny. Well played.
Yes.
All right, Christian, you ready?
Okay, one quick second, because
Sure.
I wasn't, make sure that. Make sure I got it right here. Okay, all right. Mr. Chairman, with regard to application ZBA 2026-058 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has, 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit of the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The applicant is replacing an existing wooden fence that is already located in the front yard of the corner lot. The new fence will preserve the existing conditions and will enhance the visual appeal of the property. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The applicant seeks to replace the existing fence to preserve the same level of privacy, security, and functionality. Variance requested is substantial. The request doubles the permitted height, which is a meaningful deviation from the zoning standard. However, due to the taller fence already existing on the property, the variance maintains an established condition rather than creating a new deviation. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. As a direct replacement of the existing fence, there are no new physical alterations, excavation, or environmental impacts. Drainage and existing vegetation will not be altered. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created due to the applicant wanting to replace a deteriorating wooden fence that was pre-existing when the current owner purchased the property. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Second by Heather. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And variance passes.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes, very much.
Thank you. No problem. It was enjoyable at times, actually.
Just like sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Okay, the final applications, application 2026, 59 and 60 for 4790 East Henrietta Road. Please come forward.
Evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Evening.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
Yes.
You gotta take it serious.
My name's Michael Burris, 4790 East Henrietta Road.
Michael, nice to see you. I'm Bob. We talked.
Yes, we did.
You had a pretty good explanation of this for me, so I would ask you to explain to the board what you're trying to do.
Well, as my wife Margie and I age, we're looking to build a retirement home, basically, on the property we have now. Currently, we have an older home that is not sufficient for our age. It's an older house and everything is living is upstairs. We looked into doing some downstairs, first floor living accommodations, but it got very cost prohibitive when we looked into it. So what we like to do is subdivide the lot and take the existing house and put it on 1 acre of property and leave the remaining 5 acres, which I have a accessory building on currently, and building a house in front of that. So there's already a substantial, paved driveway going back to it. It's kind of 20 years ago when I built the barn, I had anticipation of doing that. But just circumstances didn't align to do that at that time. So now we're looking at doing it now. Both of the properties, if we do this and subdivide it, if it
already, connected to the sewer behind me at the apartments. So I have a couple force mains coming into the property now, so they would both be serviced by sanitary and be off of septic. Because normally in the rural residential, it's required for 5 acres per parcel on septic. Neither one of them would be on septic, they would be on sewer.
So let me ask you two questions. So just for clarity, we have two applications here.
Yeah.
One of them is for a smaller size of the property of 1.07 acres.
Correct.
And that, for my clarification, is the house today.
The house today, correct.
And an acre-ish around that.
Yeah. Basically, the property would be split off from Ward Hill to the back of the property line, so all the frontage on East Henrietta Road go with that piece of property.
Okay.
All the frontage would be left on Ward Hill.
And so the Ward Hill component would be in the neighborhood of 5 acres.
About 5 acres, yes.
And the reason that we're here for that piece is not because of the size, because we have plenty of size there, but it's because you have an accessory structure, which by the way is a second application here.
Yeah.
You have an accessory structure, but no house.
No house currently, but yeah.
This is the goal. This is what's gonna happen, right? When do you anticipate building a house?
As soon as we get through this portion of it, get the subdivision, then we're gonna go ahead forward with the house.
And now, do you plan on selling the front property, if we'll call it
At
front?
this time, yeah, it's kind of up in the air, but inevitably that's probably what's gonna happen, is selling off that piece of property.
Isn't that the reason for the subdividing ultimately?
Well, you can't put two houses.
You can't put two houses on the property.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
so I have to subdivide it, and to get the minimum of 2 acres would encroach on the accessory building. We tried it all different ways, so that's why I'm asking for 1 acre, which in the area that I'm in, is not absorbed. I've got a map here that shows all the properties in the general vicinity of me, and they're all pretty much half acre or less, on septic. So I think that I'm not asking for anything unrealistic.
So it sounds like you've actually you've done a bit of research, somewhat forced, to figure out the least amount of variances you would need to accomplish your objective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. To me, this makes sense for what he needs, and this is a paperwork issue more than other problems because of their physical needs for a single-story house. I think this is the most viable thing. The other thing to pay attention to, there's some easements out there too, right?
Yes, there's some easements in the back. That was when we did the sewer. We needed to get some easements from Southern Hills and the adjacent property to come through for the sewer, which they're already through onto my property now. They just have to be completed depending on where everything's gonna end up. I also have a petition that my immediate neighbors, I went to all of them and just asked if they had any questions, because the letter was kind of vague on what we were planning on doing. So I explained it to all of them, and I do have, 8 signatures of, that they're, not again opposed at all. I don't know if you guys want to see this or not.
If you show it to us, we just have to keep it. That's all.
No, that's fine. I make copies of all.
Okay.
Is the drawing that's up on the, do we have that in the application?
No, we don't.
That's been part of my
Yeah.
concern, is that I
Yeah.
haven't had any, I couldn't visualize any of this. I have no, and since.
It's a separate document.
I just dropped it in there, guys. I don't know what happened with the merge of all the documents together, so I apologize. I wish I had known earlier. I could have dropped it. So if you ever see discrepancies like that, please let me know.
Is it the Barice file?
Yes.
And I want to look at that real quick.
Marked out. Property, ground.
Okay. And if you needed the town can photocopy this if you needed.
No.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Yep.
You have stated that you are gonna build a new house on, the 5 acre parcel if we were to approve it.
Correct.
How in the near future would that be? Would that be,
Pretty soon.
okay,
We're not getting any younger, especially tonight.
I have a few questions, if I could, please.
Yep.
Do you intend to keep both properties where the existing house is once you build your ranch house on the other one? Or do you intend to sell off?
Probably sell the one house. Don't need that extra work. But
For
to
the,
get
like,
older.
what would then be 1.07
Yes.
acres with
One-
the existing
with the
house and
existing-
shed?
Correct.
That would be
That
sold
would-
off to someone
yeah.
entirely.
Yep.
Okay, and then the
That's
other
good.
question, so that's something to consider, like the shape of that lot, but it looks like you're proposing kind of a clean.
Yeah, clean,
Line.
straight, just,
So if they wanted, the new owners decided, I'm gonna put a fence in between, you've got a kind of a clean
Yeah,
line
yeah,
between the
right.
two, not crazy. And the other thing is, the metal barn, because you have a lot of vehicles back there, I'm just curious, what do you use that for?
we've got a big motor home I put in there in the wintertime. I've got a couple of classic cars that I store in there.
Okay.
Just, equipment. I got a tractor, side by side for working around the yard. My wife uses that to do a lot of gardening and stuff like that, so. Just mainly, just storage for stuff to maintain the property.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from the board? Okay, Shauna, are you okay with it?
Yeah, I mean, given the way the lot would be like cleanly cut, so it really can be sold to someone else and be separate and not a weird kind of
Yeah, that was the
configuration.
plan, 'cause
Yeah, I'm yes.
Christian? Okay, we're good. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to?
You sure?
Gonna get hurt, Bob. And with that, I will close this application.
With regards to application number ZBA 2026-059-060 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals make the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. This variance will not appear out of character because the scale of the property overall. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, and due to the limitations on this property and requirements for septic and so on, this is the only feasible alternative. The variance requested is substantial, but due to the restrictions, it's the only situation that seems to work. The variance, will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. It still has a large lots and should not create environmental issues due to the addition of the house as a near-term plan. The difficulty related to the variance, which was self-created. However, it's a fair solution to the applicant's needs. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variances as presented.
I'll second.
Christian. Seconded by Christian. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And your variance is approved.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Well,
You
have
want
a
to
good
stay?
morning.
You got a bed over there.
All right, thank you all.
So on the 3-car garage,
meeting is closed at.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I gotta do this for Heather. And we will close the zoning board of appeals meeting for July at 10:06.
the 3-car garage